Welcome to the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. Gorgeous Friday night in the Pacific Northwest. Fans filing in, wearing green for both sides at PK Park. The Big Ten champions, the host team, the top seed in this regional, the Oregon Ducks taking on the WAC tournament champions, the 4 seed, the Utah Valley Wolverines. A look at our bracket for the Eugene Regional. Earlier today, the 2 seed Arizona hung on the Big 12 tournament champions to beat the Big West tournament champions, the Cal Poly Mustangs, 3-2, as Arizona didn't get a hit after the second inning, but still able to move on to the winner's bracket. They'll play the winner of our game tomorrow night here in Eugene. Along with Wes Clements and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein with you, and a fun first game. It should be a great night here in Eugene.
It was a great first game. I mean, anytime you have a one-run game, it's always a great game. But we got a good one tonight.
And an interesting regional. We have 3 conference tournament champions, plus the Big Ten regular season champions in Oregon. But Arizona, Cal Poly, and Utah Valley are here in this regional in the Pacific Northwest. And this one is matched up with the Chapel Hill Regional as far as the Super Regional goes. Utah Valley in the NCAA tournament for the 2nd time in school history, and a high-powered offense that hits a lot of home runs, and they steal bases.
You are right. They led the WAC in batting average, runs scored, home runs. They did a lot of stuff good offensively. They didn't play well at the end of the year until they said, if you lose in this WAC conference tournament, you're going to go home. And they didn't lose one game, and they also threw a no-no in one of those 4 wins.
On the other side for the Oregon Ducks, a great season, their first year in the Big Ten. For Mark Wasikowski, they hit home runs, they also pitch, and they do the little things well. A well-rounded ball club for the Oregon Ducks.
Just a tremendous season for the Ducks this year. In their first year, as you mentioned, Roxy, in the Big Ten, their pitching was first in the league, their hitting was 2nd in the league, and their hitting was led by Jacob Walsh, who in just a year's time has made this big transition from last year when he had trouble making contact, Roxy. Not the case this year. He's leading the Ducks in hitting, he's leading the Ducks in RBIs, he's 2nd in home runs, and he leads the Ducks in on-base percentage.
Jacob Walsh, the all-time home run leader in Oregon history. Since 2021, full house electricity here at PK Park. It is awesome here on a Friday night. Utah Valley, Oregon. Lineups at first pitch next. A look at PK Park, the home of the Oregon Ducks and the site of the Eugene Regional in Game 2 after Arizona beat Cal Poly in our first game today, and now the nightcap. The top seed in this regional, the Ducks, taking on the 4 seed, the WAC tournament champions. The Wolverines from Utah Valley in the NCAA tournament for the 2nd time. And the lineup for the Wolverines, and a lineup that hits home runs, and they constantly put pressure. It's a club built on their offense.
It is, and there's no question about it. Nate Rasmussen, first-year head coach, has got a lot to do with it. He's a hitting guru. You mentioned him, 309. They led the WAC in hitting. Doubles 2nd, triples 2nd, home runs 1st, slugging 1st.
And the ball game is underway. And the 6'11" Jacob Reitz making the start, missing with ball 1. 94 for Reitz. 5-0 with a save and a 3.09 ERA. And the lanky righty's pitch is in there for a strike to Luke Iverson, the right fielder. 1-1 on Iverson, hitting .285 with 16 home runs out of the leadoff spot. The 1-1, and that's inside edge for a strike. 95 from Reitz. 1-2 on Iverson.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, Rocks. Could be the tallest pitcher the Wolverines have faced this year.
1-2. Swing and a miss, got him with the off speed, and he struck him out. That's how our ball game begins. 60 strikeouts in 58 2/3 innings for Reitz. And there is a look at the lanky junior righty from San Jose in the Bay Area. As Reitz, who went to Pioneer High School, started at St. Mary's before transferring here to Oregon. And the Gales, his former team, playing right up the road and leading at Oregon State in the 4th inning, 3-2. Swing and a miss by Jaden Smith, and it's 0-2.
Well, the one thing about Reitz, you took a look at, and they're all good numbers with the exception of one. He walks about 4.5 per 9 innings.
Check swing and a pitch that bounces. I can't say in the dirt because it is the field turf. What would be the dirt? It's 1-2 on center fielder Smith, hitting .403. 9-game hit streak for Jaden Smith. First team all WAC, leading the WAC in hitting, and he takes it low.
Something about this crowd that seem they want to strike every pitch no matter where it's at.
You blame him?
Well, no, I'm just saying, making a comment, that's all.
2-2. The motion from Reitz, the pitch. And it bounces again, laying off is Jaden Smith.
When you're a 4 seed coming in to play a team like Oregon, and many believe Oregon could win the national championship, you need a player, a teammate to get up there and get a base hit. Just to let everybody know, hey, they're human.
In the air to right. Drew Smith camps under it, backpedaling. Makes the catch, 2 gone. That'll bring up the second baseman, Landon Fry, for Utah Valley. As Fry, the transfer from Utah, played 3 years for the Utes. 294, 16 home runs for Fry this year. Tied for 3rd in the WAC in RBIs and leading the WAC in RBIs, tied for 3rd in homers, and it's strike 1 from Jason Reitz. As a freshman, Fry was honorable mention All Pac-12. 1-1 on Landon Fry. Reitz the pitch, and out in front of it off speed. A challenging point of the night for hitters because the top part of Reitz at 6'11" is still in sunlight, but the rest of him is in shade. And the release point picking up the ball is tough. Swing and a miss, struck him out. 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts for Reitz. The Wolverines go quietly. The Ducks coming to bat. The NCAA Baseball Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Bottom of the first, the Ducks coming to bat in a full house at PK Park in Eugene, and the lineup for Mark Wasikowski and Oregon. And Mason Neville, the home run leader in the country, is the leadoff batter for the Ducks. A deep lineup that has 5 different hitters with at least 12 home runs.
It is, and one thing about their leadoff hitter, you talked about Mason Neville. I've never seen this ever in my life, that 42 of 61 hits that Mason has had have gone for extra base hits. And I was good in math, it's over 66% of his hits. Go ahead and admit it.
You put the calculator away, Wes.
No, I got nothing.
On the mound for Utah Valley, Corbin Kirk. Lefty, the senior from Casper, Wyoming. 5-4, the 5.69 ERA for Kirk, who has the tough task of dealing with this powerful Oregon lineup. And Mason Neville leads it off, and Kirk winds and delivers on the outside edge for a strike.
And again, against this lineup, the worst thing you can do is issue some free passes.
0-1 on Neville. And that one to the outside edge. It's 0-2 on Neville. Started his college career at Arkansas and transferred to Oregon. But he's just 2 for his last 25. The 0-2. And that's off the outside, ball 1 to Neville, who again leads the country in homers. In fact, 19 of his 26 long balls have been hit here at PK Park. Breeze blowing out toward right center on a warm Friday night. And Neville lines it the other way and into left center for a hit. Over to cut it off in the alleyway is Jimmy DeAnda. And Mason Neville goes the other way and a leadoff single.
It's a rarity, a single for Mason, but a great job of hitting. And this is a bad sign for the rest of this regional if Mason Neville gets locked in and starts hitting balls the other way.
Leadoff single. That'll bring up Dominic Hellman, the DH for Oregon, 316 with 12 homers. And he has driven in 41. The pitch, and Hellman takes. That bounces and blocked by the catcher, Mason Strong.
Now, what did Waz tell us about Hellman? That he's got as much power as he's ever seen in his life?
Huge 6'6", 250 junior from Mill Creek, Washington. Tied him up there. And on the backswing, I think he got a piece of the catcher Strong. 1-1 on Hellman, who's got an 8-game hitting streak going. Third team All Big Ten this year for Hellman, who was also on the All-Tournament team at the Big Ten tournament played in Omaha. Mighty cut, and it's 0-2, and Hellman didn't get cheated.
He's never going to get cheated. You watch him take BP yesterday.
Multi-hits in each of the last 3 games for Hellman, went 4 for 6 as Oregon played 2 games in Omaha at the Big Ten tournament. 1-2. Swinging a ball, hit down the right field side, that pushing toward the corner, foul.
It's very interesting right now, Rox, when you look at the Utah Valley defense, right? You have 3 defenders on the left side of the diamond, but you have a first baseman that's not holding the runner at first. So that, which one is it? I mean, they're playing him to pull. So why wouldn't you be holding the runner?
1-2. Hellman, weak topper toward third, charging at Nate Bach. Fields halfway to the mound, throws out Hellman, and Mason Neville moves up to second base on the slow bouncer, 1 out.
And again, like I said, in the top half, it's that they're waiting for one of their teammates, speaking of Utah Valley, to get a hit, make some contact. And again, it's defensively, get an out.
1 gone. Here is Jacob Walsh. 336, 19 homers, 59 batted in. The all-time home run leader in Oregon history. He has hit 59 long balls. Also the all-time RBI leader for the Ducks, and he goes the other way and lines it foul.
We should mention the ball will carry here.
335 down the line and left, 325 and right. 365 to left center, 366 to right center, and 390 to dead center with a 7-foot-high fence all the way around. Walsh on the ground into the shift, backhanded to his right. B.J. Collier makes the play with the pitcher Kirk covering for the out, and going to third is Neville.
It's an underrated play, but a real good play by C.J. Collier, and a great job by Corbin Kirk, falling up to the third base side of the rubber, gets over to cover first for a big second out.
2 gone, and that'll bring up the cleanup batter, Drew Smith. And it's funny, with all this power in the Oregon lineup, Drew Smith is not a prototypical cleanup batter. He's got 2 home runs this year. He hits .311. Now, he missed 16 games with a leg injury as he takes ball 1 outside. Last year, Smith helped Oregon get to the Super Regional. He was in the all-tournament team at the Santa Barbara Regional, hosted by UCSB. 1-0 pitch. Smith fouled it off right in his hands, and it's 1-1.
Well, it's a good tight slider down and in right there from Kirk. You know, there's nerves on both sides. You waited all year for this. This was your goal when this season started.
Swing and a miss. Kirk blew it by him. 91 with a fastball. 1-2 on the cleanup batter for Oregon, Drew Smith. Oregon 42-14, went 22-8 in the Big Ten. 1-2, and it just missed with a changeup. While Utah Valley finished third in the regular season in the WAC. Went 13-11 in league play, 32-27 overall. Neville at third, Kirk the 2-2. Upstairs and a full count.
Here's the thing with Kirk. He could throw any pitch on a 3-2 count. First base is open. You got a switch hitter on deck. And a Rose.
3-2. And it's ball four. Went with something soft. Smith lays off, draws a walk. Runners to the corners, 2 down for Anson Arrows. .281, 16 homers for the junior from Auburn, California. Outside of Sacramento, as Auburn is on your way from Sacramento as you're driving toward Lake Tahoe. Up Highway 80 in Northern California. Strike one. Good fastball from Corbin Kirk.
And once again, Utah Valley with Landon Fry, their second baseman, on the shortstop side of second base.
Arrows red hot the Big Ten tournament. 6 for 8, drove in 3, and he checked his swing. Did it go? No on appeal, says Seth Buckminster, the umpire down at first. 1-1, third team all Big Ten for Anson Arrows. Multi-hits in 3 of the last 4 games. Hit 2 homers in the Super Regional last year at College Station. The 1-1. Arrows takes a strike.
Well, Drew Smith at first has 6 stolen bases this year. They're not holding him on.
Neville the runner at third. Kirk the 1-2. Arrows swings, pops it up. This will push out of play. On the first base side of PK Park, where it is full. Crowd still trickling in for a local 6 o'clock start in Eugene. Tremendous crowd decked out in green and gold. 1-2. Runner goes from first, grounded sharply foul past third base. And Drew Smith to go back to first. Again, the first regional for Oregon that they've hosted since 2021. They did host a super here in 2023, losing to Oral Roberts in 3 games.
Tremendous series that was at Super.
Yeah, 3 tightly contested games. Again, the 1-2. And it's just inside, and Utah Valley started cheating off the field. The catcher, Mason Strong, jumped out of his crouch, heading toward the third base dugout.
Well, I tell you what, if you're a catcher, you can do anything, just don't turn around with your head and talk to the umpire.
2-2. Corbin Kirk, the pitch. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Ran the fastball in on the hands. And the Ducks strand 2 here in the first. Scoreless through 1 in Eugene. Utah Valley and Oregon. ESPN is the home for the NCAA College Baseball Regionals. For around-the-clock multi-game coverage, scan the QR code below. ESPN Plus subscribers can access expanded coverage with Squeeze Play. Scoreless to the second. After a 1-2-3 first for Jason Reitz, the Oregon 6'11" right-hander. Mason Strong, the catcher for Utah Valley, leads it off. Followed by Dominic Longo, the second, and Nate Bach in the Wolverines' second. Strike 1 from Reitz. And Mason Strong for Utah Valley. The WAC tournament most outstanding player and a first team all WAC member this year. Well, as he had 2 homers in the final on Sunday against Abilene Christian. Strong was 11 for 20 in the tournament with 2 homers, 7 RBIs, and scored 7 runs.
Who did not play well for Utah Valley in that tournament? To go through that tournament and just sweep all 4 games and then mix in a no-hitter.
Third in the WAC in RBIs, second in hitting for Strong. with a .376 average. Played last 2 years at Oklahoma, transferring, and he started his college career redshirted at BYU. As a freshman, as he takes it. And a full count on the catcher Strong. Coming out of high school, was the #1 prospect in the state of Utah. And the 3-2 is hit on one bounce to second. Fielded by Ryan Cooney. And he throws out Mason Strong, one away. Here comes the shortstop, Dominic Longo the second. 305, 10 homers for Longo. He also homered in that championship game against Abilene Christian. He's hit safely in 10 of the last 11 on the all-tournament team for the WAC, and the second team all-conference member, and it's strike one. Reitz, who started the year in the rotation for Oregon, then went to the bullpen and then resurfaced in early April in the starting rotation. A cue shot foul. And he has been lights out his last 4 starts.
Well, we know about his fastball. His fastball can get up to 95, but when he has command of his secondary pitches, that's when he's really, really good. And that's the case lately. And we've seen it early with his slider tonight.
Pop foul. The last outing for Reitz, he didn't pitch in the Big Ten tournament. So he's been off since May 17th, almost 2 weeks. He went 5 2/3 in a win against Iowa, gave up 1 run on 4 hits in a 13-4 Ducks win in Iowa City. Swing and a miss, got him with a breaking ball.
And that Iowa series that you're referring to was the last series of the Big Ten Conference regular season, and that gave the Ducks the conference championship. Even though they tied with UCLA, they won the tiebreaker because they won 2 out of 3 here at PK Park against UCLA.
2 outs, Nate Bach, the third baseman, as Reitz has retired the first 5 Wolverines. And it's strike one to Bach, hitting .270 with 9 home runs.
Speaking of UCLA, they won earlier today, beat Fresno State.
19 runs for John Savage's Bruins. 1-1 on Bach. Senior from Boulder, Colorado, a transfer from Allen Junior College. And it's 2-1 on Bach. But Iowa was in the running for the Big Ten title, and then they were left out of the tournament.
The weekend started with Iowa leading the conference, UCLA second, and Oregon third.
The Ducks swept the Hawkeyes. Guided foul by Bach.
And UCLA won 2 of 3 from Northwestern, but lost game 1 of that series. But the only way that Oregon could have won was to sweep Iowa and/or have UCLA lose 2 of 3 and win 2 of 3.
2-2. And that's high from Reitz. And a full count on Nate Bach with 2 outs.
It was going to be an interesting decision for the committee had Iowa won the Big Ten regular season.
3-2, got him, struck him out. 6 up, 6 down for the 6'11". Jason Reitz with 4 strikeouts. To the bottom of the second, scoreless in Eugene.
Welcome everyone to Omaha, Nebraska, home of the College World Series.
'Cause here I come, I wear it all on my sleeve, so everything you see shows you where I'm from.
Bolts back and makes the catch! Somehow hung on! Back-to-back jacks!
More, can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Destination Omaha. And the College World Series, bottom of the second, scoreless. The number 12 national seed Oregon, and the WAC champs, tournament champions Utah Valley. 6, 7, and 8 for Oregon against the lefty Corbin Kirk. Maddox Maloney, Chase Meggers, Ryan Cooney in the Ducks second, as Maloney 307 with 15 home runs this year. Leading off the home second for Oregon. The 1-1. And that's inside. Did it hit him? And he's jogging down to first base like he's saying it did. But the plate umpire, A.J. Wendell, never moved and never acknowledged that it hit Maddox Maloney. And now Maloney, who was all the way at first base, coming back home.
Well, Maloney's looking at Mark Wasikowski, his skipper, to say, give me it. Did you get hit or not? Let me know.
Two-one pitch, no challenge, and it's a strike on the outside corner. 2-2, and Maloney tried to lean into it, it looked like.
Which is illegal. I saw it called once this year.
Hit sharply through the left side, and Maloney gets first base regardless. Second hit for Oregon. A leadoff base runner gives the Ducks a start here in the last of the second. Maloney is on for Chase Meggers. And the first team all Big Ten. Shortstop Maloney at first base, and Meggers, who had an injury-plagued season as a junior catcher from Rockland outside of Sacramento. And Meggers takes ball one. He missed the first 16 games this season with a finger injury, made his season debut in mid-March against Grand Canyon. And talking to Mark Wasikowski yesterday, Meggers may have come back a little too soon. Moved to first, and back to the bag is Maloney. As the first baseman, B.J. Collier, was off the bag and then had to move over near first base. And time is called, and Mark Wasikowski coming up, Wes. I think this is the Oregon coach saying that Collier was not at first base, therefore it should have been a balk.
Well, that's exactly, Roxy, what he's talking about. And you can see where C.J. Collier is. He's playing at the crease, basically, which is close to the carpet, the grass, whatever you want to say. But he's up off the line, so he's a couple feet on.
And if you're not at the bag by rule, it's a balk. 1-0 pitch, and that's a strike to the outside edge for Meggers, 1-1.
I think why it looks so bad is that C.J. Collier went lateral instead of back towards the bag.
Overshift on by Utah Valley in the infield. Playing Meggers to pull, who squares and takes ball two.
This is the fun part of baseball right here. You see, we talked about C.J. Collier playing off the bag, way off the bag, and then Nate Bach, the third baseman, came in because they squared a bunt.
Line foul.
It's the beauty of baseball. All you got to do is, when you do things like that, when you see the square for the bunt, it's just planting a seed in the defense. Hey, we might do it.
2-2. Meggers lines it foul again. As Meggers, when he came back, was splitting time behind the plate with Berkeley Maybe's freshman, who was a highly touted recruit for Mark Wasikowski in Oregon. And Mark Wasikowski given the edge to go with Meggers here in game one, going with that experience behind the plate here in an NCAA tournament game. Maloney draws a throw over at first base.
You see the difference where CJ stepped? He stepped directly at the bag rather than lateral. Didn't have to reach for him.
2-2 on Meggers. Made one start of the Big Ten tournament, started their opener at the Big Ten tournament against Michigan State. Last year, honorable mention all Pac-12 for Meggers, hit .316 when he moved into the starting lineup for Oregon about midway through last season. 2-2, and that's inside from Corbin Kirk, and a full count.
Three infielders on the right side of second base for Meggers.
3-2. Kirk, the pitch, runner goes, and it's strike three called. Throw down to second. Strike him out, throw him out. Double play for Utah Valley. And just like that, 2 outs.
Well, Maloney at first didn't get a good jump because there's a left-hand pitcher on the rubber. He's got to make sure that Kirk goes to the dish, and because of that, with a fastball right down the middle, it's an easy catch and throw for Strong for the second out.
Outside ball one to Ryan Cooney, the second baseman, hitting .335 for Oregon. And for Strong, that's another runner that he has gunned down. Very good defensively as well. 1-1, rather 2-0 the count on Cooney. 5 homers for Cooney, the Oregon second baseman. He's homered in 2 of the last 5 games. First team all Big Ten. Ryan Cooney takes it high and away. 1 point this year at a 21 game on base streak, which was snapped in early May. It's been Big Ten Player of the Week 2 of the final 3 weeks of the regular season. 3-0 from Kirk. And it's ball 4. He walked him on 4, and that's the second issued by Corbin Kirk. And a 2-out base runner to get Connor Garate to the plate.
Now, we thought we saw a lot of throws to first base before. Cooney's 15 out of 18 stolen bases for the Ducks.
Connor Garate was hit by a pitch late in the season but played through it. And he's shown no ill effects of getting hit on the hand as Kirk makes a move to first. Garate hit 2 homers in the regular season finale at Iowa, drove in 5 in that game. And for Carter Garate, his 117th consecutive start tonight. Squares, and it's ball 1 from Kirk. As Garate was the MVP of the regional in Santa Barbara last year. He went 5 for 10 in the regional hosted by UC Santa Barbara. Homer drove in 4 as the Ducks advanced out of there. The 1-0, and that's down low from Kirk. It's 2-0.
The Ducks went to Aggie land, didn't they?
Yep.
Playing that super.
Crowd letting Corbin Kirk know he's misfired with 6 straight pitches. A 9-hitter Garate, the 2-0. And that's in there for a strike. 2-1. Corbin Kirk coming off a phenomenal outing against Abilene Christian 8 days ago in the opening game at the WAC tournament. And it catches the outside edge. It's 2-2. He threw a complete game, giving up a run on 6 hits, threw 135 pitches in that start against Abilene Christian. No walks, 13 strikeouts in a 3-1 win. 2-2. And it's full now on Garate, and Kirk set the tone for Utah Valley at the WAC tournament.
It sure did. And you could see why. He mixes his pitches well. He changes eye levels.
Already 45 pitches, though. 3-2. Swinging a bouncer near first base, and it's a fair ball. Gloved by B.J. Collier. Steps on first for the out. Side retired. 1 hit, 1 left. Through 2 in Eugene. Utah Valley and Oregon scoreless. The Women's College World Series finals begin Wednesday, June 4th from Oklahoma City. As you look at the bracket for the Women's College World Series. For more information, go to ncaa.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships.
It's the best time of the year for baseball and softball. Love watching the Women's College World Series.
Bottom of the order for Utah Valley in the 3rd. First pitch waved out and missed. Brody Block out in front of a Jason Reitz pitch. It seemed like he took something off the fastball there. 0-1 the count on Block, hitting .333 with a home run. And Block takes inside. DH for Utah Valley, a junior from Visalia, and a JC transfer from Reedley Junior College. Reitz the 1-1. That's outside. 2-1 the count on Block. He got more action and more at-bats as the season went on for Utah Valley this year. 3-1. Utah Valley in the NCAA tournament for the second time in the history of their program. Wolverines went to Baton Rouge for the NCAA tournament when were swept out of there in 2016. And a leadoff base runner is Brody Block, draws a walk to lead off the top of the third, the first base runner for the Wolverines. And here comes CJ Collier for UVU.
Taking a look at Nate Rasmussen in his first year, Roxy, at the helm.
He's done an assistant coach previously at Utah Valley. And it's high ball one to CJ Collier, hitting .336 with 8 homers out of the 8th spot in the order. Utah Valley back in 2016 losing to Southeastern Louisiana. They were eliminated by them after losing their opener 7-1 to LSU. And it's 1-1 on Collier.
Nate Rasmussen actually played college ball up here at University of Pacific Oregon, or is it Oregon Pacific?
Pacific University.
Pacific University.
Which is up near Portland. 1-1. Lined out toward left, over toward the line. Anson Arrows reaches out and can't make the catch. He had trouble fighting the sun. It is a nasty sun field right now in left. And you saw watching Arrows never comfortable going after it.
You could it almost looked like he didn't see it at all, and then he picked it up late. We'll get a look at it right here, and the sun is setting right in Arrows' face. And you can see he didn't see it, then he picked it up, and just like that, the Wolverines have first and second and no outs.
It is ruled a single for Collier, and there's 2 on for Utah Valley. The 9-hitter squaring, and it's a called strike to Jimmy Deanda.
And this is something that the Wolverines don't do a lot of, but in this situation with the 9-hole hitter up, if they can move the runners up to second and third with 1 out and flip this lineup over, it's exactly what Nate Rasmussen wants.
Corners playing up, not squaring. Deanda swings through. A pitch from Jason Reitz, a changeup, and it's 0-2 on the left fielder Deanda. Homered in the championship game against Abilene Christian. Hit safely in 8 of the last 10 for Utah Valley. Takes it down low, another changeup. And it's 1-2 on Deanda. Top of the order, and Luke Iverson looming on deck. A threat for Utah Valley. Reitz the 1-2. That's high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Utah Valley became a Division I baseball program in 2009. Played in the Great West Conference before joining the WAC. Spin but no throw to second base. It's Utah Valley located in Orem, Utah. Just outside of Provo. They're about 5 to 10 minutes up the road for BYU. Right off Highway 15. As you can see, their ballpark, UCCU ballpark, right off the highway there. Great yard. And it's just high from Reitz.
Well, this is a great job by Deanda. After getting behind 0-2, goes back to 3-2.
Full count. Threat for Utah Valley. And the pitch. Lined out of play. Over toward Autzen Stadium. Football stadium here at Oregon is off behind the first base side of PK Park.
Seems like there's about 9 stadiums within 50 yards of us.
Well, you have
and an arena.
Soccer, All the football practice facilities, well, the arena's on the other side of the river. Line to left and a hit for DeAnda, and Utah Valley will take the lead. Brody Block rounding third. They're going to hold C.J. Collier at third base. Jimmy DeAnda, an RBI double, and it's 1-0 Utah Valley.
Just a tremendous job by DeAnda. Getting behind in the count, 0-2, works it to a full count, gets an off-speed pitch from Reitz, stays on it, hooks it down the left field line, and don't look now, but the Wolverines are set up, run in, second and third, and no outs in the top of their lineup, Roxy.
Luke Iverson will be the batter as a mound visit for the catcher, Chase Meggers. DeAnda, the RBI double, his 9th double. And RBI number 33 as Block comes in. That leadoff walk scores. Collier at third, DeAnda at second. Iverson struck out to lead off the ball game for Utah Valley. And he takes a strike from Reitz.
Now, if you're Utah Valley, at minimum, you need to get another run on the board. And if you're Oregon, if you can get out of this mess, giving up 2 runs, job well done.
Line to right, that'll fall in for a hit. Scoring is Collier. They're going to hold DeAnda at third. He had to wait to see if the ball was going to get in. RBI single for Iverson. 2-0 Utah Valley.
That's a fastball from Reitz, and Iverson did not miss it. And to your point, Roxy, DeAnda, great base running, no outs, needs to make sure that ball gets down, doesn't overrun the runner at third. Great job, first and third, still no outs.
And Jaden Smith, the top hitter in the whack at the plate. And he gets onto this one, a fly ball slicing toward the corner and right. And hustling over and running into the side wall, trying to reach out for it, Drew Smith.
And what's interesting about these 1-4 matchups, Roxy, we've seen them over the years. The more success that Utah Valley has, the more they will continue to believe, hey, now hold on a second, we can beat this team.
You've seen some tight 1-4 battles today in Wright State. Battling with Vandy to the end, and Vandy won 4-3. Called strike 2, Jaden Smith.
Wright State actually had led that game and had a no-hitter going into the 6th inning.
Into the 7th?
Or in the 7th, they made a pitching change. So much for the no-hitter. Next hitter, home run.
And St. Mary's leading Oregon State 3-2 in Corvallis in a 1-4 matchup, heading to the bottom of the 6th. And it just missed off the outside. Chase Meggers tried to bring it back. 1-2 on Jaden Smith.
Well, it's imperative that Smith puts the ball in play. Even if it's a ground ball double play, you get the run in. Can't have the punch out now.
There's a ball grounded toward third. That's a foul ball. Glove just wide of the bag by Carter Garate. Utah Valley runners at the corners and still nobody out, leading Oregon 2-0 in the 3rd. As the Wolverines winning the WAC tournament championship down in Arizona. And that was on the heels of losing 4 straight.
They were not playing good at all. I talked to Nate Rasmussen yesterday. He said, no, we weren't playing well at all.
They had a rough month of May until the WAC tournament. Again, the 1-2 runner goes from first. Strike 3 called. No throw and a steal as Luke Iverson takes second base. Holding at third is DeAnda. And for Luke Iverson, motoring down, that's his 13th stolen base. And as a club, that's the 115th steal for Utah Valley this year.
And they led the WAC in stolen bases as well, but it's also a gigantic stolen base. Why? Because it keeps Oregon away from turning a double play to get out of this mess.
5th strikeout for Reitz. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, and ball 1 to Landon Fry. But for Utah Valley, they won the first 2 from Cal Baptist at the end of April, and then lost the series finale to the Lancers of Cal Baptist. 1-0 pitch is fouled back by Fry. Then the next weekend, Utah Valley went to UTA, were swept by Texas Arlington. In fact, run ruled in the first game of that series by UTA. Reitz the 1-1. Popped up. Behind the plate, giving it a look. Chase Meggers watches it sail out of play. Then, on a midweek game in Salt Lake City against Utah, they were beaten by the Utes 8-2. And that weekend, they went home, won the opener, run ruled Sac State, before losing the last two of that series to the Sacramento State Hornets. Then had a non-conference series the following Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday leading up to the WAC tournament. Their final 3 games of the regular season, they were swept by the USF Dons in San Francisco. 2-2. The pitch to Fry, and it's in there. Strike 3 called. 6th strikeout for Reitz.
Huge out. Of course, Fry leads the Wolverines in RBIs with 73, and this is looked like a get-me-over slider. It's right down the middle, and it locked up Fry, and now Reitz has an opportunity to get out of this mess with only giving up 2.
Mason Strong, the cleanup batter for Utah Valley, climbs in. Jimmy DeAnda at third, Luke Iverson at second. 2 outs, 2 in for the Wolverines. And that ball's lined through the left side and a base hit. That'll score 2. Rounding third, Iverson's the ball misplayed by Antoneros at left. Goes to run it down. Still running. Mason Strong ends up at third base. 2-run single and an error advances Strong. 4-0 Utah Valley.
Well, Mason Strong jumps all over this first pitch fastball. And 2 runs are going to score no matter that it gets past arrows in left field. But Utah Valley putting up a 4 spot here.
2-run single and an E7 allows Strong to get to third. And a mound visit now for Oregon and their pitching coach Blake Hawksworth, as Wright struggling and some stirring in the Oregon bullpen beyond the wall and right, as it looks like it'll be for Oregon a lefty in Umlaut getting up in the bullpen. But a 4 spot for Utah Valley. The 8th batter of this top of the 3rd is Dominic Longo II, who struck out against Reitz in the 2nd. But after getting swept by San Francisco and the USF Dons, Utah Valley went to the WAC tournament in Mesa, Arizona, and they swept through it. 1-strike pitch. The first game of the WAC tournament was a week ago Wednesday, and they run ruled UTA in their first game 17-7. And beat Abilene Christian 3-1 behind Corbin Kirk, who fired that gem against Abilene Christian. Then the Friday game was the combined no-hitter of Sac State, as they won it 9-1. And the first no-hitter in tournament history. That was in the semifinals against the Hornets. And then the championship, they beat Abilene Christian 11-9. Runner at third, 2 outs. Reitz the 2-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. 3 strikeouts of the inning for Reitz, who has struck out 7. But Utah Valley scores 4 runs on 4 hits with an error. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Top of the order coming up for the Ducks. 4-0 UVU. Surprising score as the WAC tournament champs, Utah Valley leading the Big Ten champions, the home team in this Eugene Regional, 4-0. We welcome those of you just joining us to PK Park in Eugene. Game 2 of the Eugene Regional, along with Wes Clements and our ESPN crew. Roxy Bernstein with you. As earlier today, Arizona here hung on for a 3-2 win over Cal Poly to get this regional started. And now the top seed, the number 12 national seed, the Oregon Ducks, find themselves in a 4-0 deficit to the WAC tournament champs, the Utah Valley Wolverines. 4 in the top of the third for the Wolverines. Ground ball over the mound. That's the shortstop, Dominic Longo, the second, making the play as he was shaded on the right side of second base, and Mason DeVille, the nation's home run leader, grounds out after singling earlier, and there's one out in the home third.
Well, this is a huge inning for Corbin Kirk on the mound for the Wolverines after his team gives him 4 runs. Wants to get this shutdown inning, and how you get it is with the leadoff out. That's what he gets with this ground ball from Neville.
Dominic Hellman, a ground out his first time up, the DH for Oregon. Corbin Kirk, the senior lefty from Wyoming. Here comes the 1-0. And that's grounded to third. Up with it, Nate Bach fires it across to first, and 2 quick outs for Corbin Kirk, who labored with a high pitch count the first 2 innings. But if he could work a quick inning here and get the shutdown inning, it would be a huge lift for Utah Valley.
Absolutely, Roxy. I mean, you hit it right on the nail.
Jacob Walsh grounded out his first time, and now we'll get an offensive conference for Oregon.
And this offensive conference right now is just to buy some time to get some more rest for the Duck starter.
And Jason Reitz had to extend himself in the top of the inning and really navigate through that frame. When Utah Valley scored 4 runs, it all started with a leadoff walk for the Wolverines. Jimmy DeAnda, the 9-hitter, an RBI double. Back to the top of the order, Luke Iverson, an RBI single, then a 2-run single from their catcher cleanup batter, Mason Strong, building the 4-0 lead after Reitz had gone 6 up, 6 down for Oregon through the first 2 innings before Utah Valley got to him in the third. The all-time home run leader in Ducks history, Jacob Walsh, the senior, takes a strike. Overshift on defensively for Utah Valley.
What's interesting, how the Wolverines send their third baseman, Nate Bach, to the right side of second base.
That's the shortstop, Longo, who is still shaded up the middle, and he's about a step into the outfield grass. That's Bach, who's playing where the second baseman probably would play. And Landon Fry, the second baseman's out in shallow right. And the outfield is deep all the way around. Temperature in the high 70s on this Friday night. A beautiful night in Eugene. Slight breeze blowing out toward right. But this Oregon crowd is shell-shocked by Utah Valley as Walsh goes the other way and laces it to left for a hit. Backhanded by Jimmy DeAnda. A wide turn. And Jacob Walsh, third hit for Oregon, singles the other way.
This is the evolution of Mr. Walsh from last year to this year, Roxy. We talked about it, how he cut down his strikeouts. This is not a bad pitch at all. It's on the outside part, and Walsh just hits a rocket, and DeAnda makes a great play to cut that ball off and keep Walsh at first base.
Walsh at first, the cleanup batter, Drew Smith, walked in the first inning. The Oregon right fielder looks at ball 1. Corbin Kirk, 5-4 and a 5.69 ERA coming in. Inside, 2-0. As Corbin Kirk, the native of Casper, Wyoming, transferred from Wayne State to Utah Valley. Walsh short lead at first, the 2-0, and that's fouled away. Do you know the highest drafted Wyomingite in the history of the Major League Draft?
You know, if you could see his face when he asked this question, he already knows that I don't know the answer.
Of course I know.
So you're so happy that I don't. So no, I don't.
He's a New York Met, current New York Met.
I might get this.
2-1. In there for a strike, 2-2.
It wasn't Lindor, I know that.
No. And I'll give you, it's not Juan Soto either, I'll tell you that.
Not Pete Alonso.
Do you think the Duck knows?
It's not Alonso.
No, it's not Pete Alonso.
Wait a second.
Full count on Smith here with 2 outs.
Left-hand hitter.
Yeah.
Punch and Judy hitter.
No.
Not really, but skinny.
It's not Jeff McNeil, if that's who you're thinking.
No.
Full count on Smith. Walsh will take off on the pitch from first base. And Smith fouls it away.
Go ahead and tell everybody.
Brandon Nimmo.
That's who I was going to guess, and that's exactly.
You told me to tell.
I described him to a T.
You said punch and Judy hitter. He's not.
He hits a home run every once in a while, but I said he's skinny.
We'll do it again. Full count with Jacob Walsh at first base. Corbin Kirk. Here it comes. In the air to right. Going back on it toward the corner is Iverson. At the track. Gone! Home run! Opposite field. Drew Smith goes the other way. The cleanup batter for Oregon, just his 3rd home run. And the Ducks have cut the Wolverines' lead in half. 4-2 Utah Valley. What a boost for Oregon, and this crowd. You could sense the nervousness in the full house at PK Park, but that might settle him in. Opposite field shot for Drew Smith. Here is Anson Arrows. And he drills one way back in left field. Gone!
Back-to-back home runs by the Ducks. Consecutive fastballs. Drew Smith goes the other way to cut the lead in half. And Arrows hits a rocket to left to cut the lead to 1. And you said it, Roxy, this crowd has woken up.
17th for Anson Arrows. And his 2-out rally draws a mound visit from Kyle Treadway, the pitching coach for the Wolverines. 2 outs, nobody on. Jacob Walsh singled the other way. And then Drew Smith launched one to right. And a missile, an absolute no-doubter, halfway up the light tower and left off the bat of Arrows. And there seemed to be some anger in that swing from Arrows after he had the error in the top of the inning.
Well, this is Drew Smith. This is the fastball away that leaves the yard, that cuts the Wolverines' lead in half. And the next picture you're going to see is Arrows' first pitch, linea line drive out of the yard.
And this crowd rocking, a full house, an overflow crowd really, because they set up temporary bleachers they built. Literally finished late yesterday and had more tickets to sell out in left center and right center as a called strike to Maddox Maloney, who singled in the second.
I know I have said this once or twice. Baseball's the best game in the world. We're seeing a perfect example. After 3 pitches this inning, there were 2 outs and nobody on. After 3 pitches, the Ducks call an offensive conference to buy time for their pitcher.
1-1 to Maddox Maloney. In the air, right field playable. Luke Iverson waiting for it to come down. Side retired, but the Ducks get 3 back. Drew Smith, a 2-run shot. Anson Arrows, a long solo blast going back to back. Through 3. 4-3, Utah Valley.
Drew Smith and Ansoneros said, I'm going to do that also. 4-3 Wolverines.
Valley as we go to the fourth, and for those of you that didn't see the rally by Utah Valley, 4-run top of the third started with a leadoff walk as the Wolverines hit Jason Reitz for 4 runs on 4 hits. That was the RBI single by Luke Iverson and a 2-run, 2-out single by Mason Strong. And it was 4-0 Utah Valley before the Ducks using the long ball to get back into it. 4-3. And
all with
for
2
Utah
outs.
Valley here in the 4th inning, Bach, Block, Collier 6, 7, and 8 as Nate Bach skies it toward right center. This will stay in the ballpark, and into the alleyway goes Drew Smith, the right fielder, for out number 1.
You go back to the Ducks last of their inning right there. Jacob Walsh, right? The left-handed power hitter that changed his approach this year to hit the ball to all fields, gets that 2-out single, and 2 hitters later, it's 4-3.
Brody Block, and he takes a strike from Jason Reitz, the 6'11" right-hander, who has struck out 7 so far. Block started that 4-run rally in the 3rd with a walk. So the challenges for Utah Valley is they figured out Reitz in the 3rd. He went 6 up, 6 downs with the first 2. But facing a 6'11" pitcher, what's the challenge for the hitters? Besides, he's got good stuff.
Well, okay, if you eliminate what's coming out of his arm, initially I'd agree with you and say, you know what? When you haven't faced somebody that's straight downhill, which is exactly what Reitz is, he throws over the top, straight downhill. It's going to take an at-bat or 2, but to the Wolverines' credit, they made that adjustment. And they hit both pitches. They hit soft last inning and his fastball. Their dugout is fully confident that they can hit Reitz now.
The 2-2 to Block. Swing and a miss, struck him out, went with something soft. 8 strikeouts for Jason Reitz.
And again, we've talked about this Utah Valley team. They come in here, nobody believes that they can't score runs. They can score runs. They led the WAC in hitting. They led the WAC in runs scored. They were 2nd in doubles. They were 1st in home runs, 1st in slugging.
C.J. Collier, and it's strike 1 as the first baseman singled and scored in the 3rd. Already 71 pitches for Reitz, and it's fouled straight back.
Well, those 3 runs, I'll tell you, also gave Reitz in the dugout, hey, I'm back in this thing. So it gives him a little more mojo out there.
2-strike pitch. Strike 3 call as he dropped the off speed right in there. 9 strikeouts for Jason Reitz as the Wolverines go 1, 2, 3. Bottom of the order coming up for the Ducks. We go to the last of the 4th. And crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. Sold out PK Park in Eugene. Game 2 of the Eugene Regional and a 4-3 lead for the WAC tournament champs Utah Valley over Oregon. Bottom of the order for the Ducks as we're joined by the head coach of Utah Valley, Nate Rasmussen, joining us. And the adjustments your hitters made, Wes was just talking about it. Nate, what did you see from your hitters dealing with the 6'11" Jason Reitz?
I think we dealt more with the 6,000 people in the stands getting really excited about and jumping at the baseball, and they kept coming back in and saying it's softer. I said, I think we're amped up, and so we just needed to make an adjustment emotionally first.
Well, Nate, we talked yesterday, and we talked about what you had a meeting with your players, and you brought in some poker chips, and you said all in. Can you tell the viewers exactly what you talked about and the poker chip and how it comes into play?
Yeah, for sure. We we had the lead in the conference with 2 weeks to go, and we played not to lose. I think it was the latest we've ever had the lead to win the conference. And we had a meeting and just talked about, hey, you guys are picked 6. We lost 90% of our at-bats, our 3 hitters at LSU, our 70% of our innings, all of that stuff. And so we talked about playing with house money. And so I brought in some poker chips. I'm holding one right now because just to keep in mind, like, hey, this is a game. We got to play it like it's a game, and we got to have fun with it.
What does it mean for your program to go to the WAC tournament like you did and get to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd time in school history?
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's huge for our admin. It's huge for our players. We got a lot of really good things going on at our university. It's an incredible spot that's growing every single day, and I think that this is just again to show the work that's gone on from these guys. That didn't happen, last week. That happened in August. That happened in July lifts. That happened in September, and all the way through. So just happy for everybody, man.
So it took about 3 or 4 innings for your players to believe, hey, we belong here, huh? You put up a 4 spot.
Yeah. I think that once we slowed it down and we just played the game, but I told you they're going to respond quickly. This is a really good team over there, and so 4 is not going to win this ball game. I can tell you that much.
Nate, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Nate Rasmussen, his first year as the head coach, not his first year on staff at Utah Valley, was elevated after he was an assistant the last few years to be the head coach of the Wolverines. 1-2 on Chase Magers leading off the home 4th for Oregon. But a Utah Valley program, 2nd tournament appearance as Magers goes down swinging. And that's the 2nd strikeout for Corbin Kirk. 1 away here in the bottom half of the 4th. That'll bring up Ryan Cooney for Oregon. And for Kirk and Utah Valley, in the postseason for the 2nd time, as the first time they went was 2016. They went to LSU and were swept out of the Baton Rouge Regional, losing to the Tigers and then to Southeastern Louisiana. But they've only been a Division I baseball program for 16 years now. Here comes the 1-0 to Ryan Cooney, and that's low from Kirk. As Cooney walked into 2nd, it's now 2-0. All right, can you name the schools that make up the WAC now in baseball?
UT, University of Texas, something. Just run with it.
Tell me that something is.
Abilene Christian.
Abilene Christian, but who's the Texas? Come on, where do the Texas Rangers play? What city?
Arlington.
You got it. UTA.
Okay. UTA. Sacramento State.
Yep.
Reggie Christensen, head coach. Yep. One of the best.
Called strike to Ryan Cooney. It's 3-1. Obviously, Utah Valley.
Yes.
So you got Sac State, Abilene Christian, UTA. There's one in the Pacific Northwest. And it's ball 4 and a 1-out walk issued to Cooney.
Would that be Seattle?
You got it. That's the 3rd walk issued by Kirk. As you take a look at our bracket for the Eugene Regional, as Arizona winning earlier today, they get the winner tomorrow night. That's at 9 Eastern, then at noon local time, 3 Eastern tomorrow. Cal Poly in an elimination game against the loser of this game. Karsten Herman, a lefty, just getting up in the Wolverines bullpen. 1 out, Cooney at first. Carter Garate, the batter, grounded out in the 2nd for Oregon. The pitch way outside. So you've gotten Sac State, Abilene Christian, Seattle U, we can add, Utah Valley, and UTA.
So how many have I not? I've gotten them all correct.
Well, I had to give you where the school in Texas. There's another school in Texas, by the way. There's the 1-0. Off the end of the bat to center. Hit right toward Jaden Smith, who makes the grab. Back to first, Cooney, 2 away. And we go back to the top of the Oregon order and Mason Neville. There's another school in Utah, by the way, that you're missing. And there's one in Southern California. So you're missing 3.
One in Southern California.
Really? Yep. I mentioned him a little while ago. Mason DeVille a single and a ground out. 1 for 2 for the nation's home run leader. 26 bombs for Mason DeVille. Runner at first, 2 outs, and DeVille takes high from Kirk for ball 1.
Well, I guarantee you, when I was an academic All-American, one of those schools wasn't even around.
Well, one of them had a different name, I will tell you that.
Oh, okay, see, there it is. That's a trick question, that's all. Otherwise, I would have got it right.
1-0 pitch. You're really giving yourself too much credit.
Who is it?
Let me know when you want hints.
No, well, there's 2 outs right now.
I'll give you a hint, see if you can get it.
Go.
One of them, Bruce Hurst, the ballpark is named after him.
I got no chance. He punched me out in spring training. That's all I know.
St. George, Utah.
Okay, look.
Utah Tech.
Okay, Utah Tech.
Formerly known as Dixie.
Okay.
Okay, now there's 2 left. One is in Riverside. And it's not UC Riverside.
It's not Cal Baptist.
Yes.
Well, that was an easy one.
You didn't get it.
I just did.
Well, I had to give you a hint.
Riverside.
And the other one is in the state of Texas.
North Texas.
Nope. 3-1 on Neville. Kirk, the pitch. Neville swings and got under it. Fly ball, playable in center for Jaden Smith. And he makes the catch with 2 hands. Goes old school. Runner left for the Ducks. Mark Wasikowski coming up next. The head coach of the Ducks. Tarleton is the other school in the WAC. 4-3 Utah Valley to the 5th. We go to the 5th. A 4-3 lead for Utah Valley over the Big Ten champs, the Oregon Ducks, with Wes Clements and our ESPN crew. Roxy Bernstein with you. We're joined by the head coach of the Oregon Ducks, Mark Wasikowski, from his first base dugout. And Waz, it seemed like the at-bats you got there with 2 outs in the 3rd settled not just your team in, but everybody in the ballpark. Do you get a sense now that everybody took a deep breath for your ball club?
Yeah, I mean, to an extreme. I mean, we got sloppy, and when they got the 4, you know, we got sloppy. We lost the ball in the sun, and you know, we kind of helped them out a little bit. But yeah, I guess so. You know, I mean, it's a you know, regional environment, obviously, and a wonderful one. I mean, this place is packed, and us responding after they got 4 in the 3rd was really good with the 3.
Well, I was talking about Jacob Walsh and the transformation this year from last year. There's an evolution as a hitter. You saw him with the 2 outs, the base hit the other way, and that's what got it all going.
Yeah, he wouldn't have done that a year ago. You know, that's Jack Martyr and his efforts with Jacob's effort to become a complete hitter, and that's why he's getting a lot of love from pro scouts right now.
Waz, appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks for your coverage.
You got it. Mark Wasikowski, head coach of the Oregon Ducks, leading Oregon to a Big Ten championship in their first season as the head coach in the Big Ten, as the Big Ten Conference Coach of the Year. 9-1-2 for Utah Valley in the 5th. Jimmy DeAnda, RBI double in that 4-run 3rd for the Wolverines, and Jason Reitz delivers a strike. Followed by the top of the order, Luke Iverson and Jaden Smith for UVU. 2-1 on DeAnda. Reitz, the pitch. Out in front.
You know, Mark Wasikowski has kind of come full circle, Roxy. He used to be a head coach at Purdue. And in the first year that he took Purdue program over, they won 19 more games. And that's where his career took off.
2-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. 10 strikeouts for Jason Reitz, who struck out each of the last 3 Utah Valley batters.
Boy, after his teammates put up three points on the board, he came out the next inning, punch out, punch out, punch out, and you can see his body language on the mound. He is back in this game.
Top of the order, Luke Iverson looks at a strike from Reitz. RBI single, scored a run in the 3rd for Utah Valley. Oh, 2. Iverson is the all-time hit by pitch leader in Utah Valley history. He has been hit 59 times in his career.
That's it?
He lines it fouled on the right side, and this year tied for 4th in the country in hit by pitches, as Iverson this year has been hit 29 times, a single season record for Utah Valley. In the air, this is pushing out a play toward the bleachers down the left field side. And it gets over to the picnic area beyond third base, is running out of room, chasing after it. Carter Garate, the Ducks' third baseman.
29 times he's been drilled.
That's basically once every other game.
Some guys don't even get on base 29 times an entire season.
That's a lot of ice packs and ice baths. Well, he stands right on top of the plate, daring you to come in. And it's 1-2 now as Reitz missing up and away. Jason Reitz making the start for Oregon. He's normally not the #1 pitcher for the Ducks. And the Friday night guy, quote unquote. Swing and a miss. Changeup got him. 11 strikeouts. That's 4 straight hitters that Reitz is fanned. 2 outs in the 5th. That'll bring up Jaden Smith. NCAA Baseball Regionals coverage for all 16 sites continues tomorrow on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. And now Utah Valley will have an offensive conference as Reitz is now tied a career high with the 11 strikeouts.
Well, this is the exact same thing that Mark Wasikowski did a couple innings ago when there was 2 quick outs for his club. Just buying time is Nate Rasmussen for his pitcher and starter, Corbin Kirk.
2 outs. Jaden Smith is 0 for 2 tonight, a flyout and a strikeout. As Reitz, who struck out 11, went 7 innings in a start at Maryland back in the middle of April. And he's tied that mark with the 11 strikeouts tonight. Strike 1 to Jaden Smith.
And last at bat, we watched Jaden Smith jump on the fastball first pitch to drive in runs, and then they followed up with the changeup.
On the ground to short. Maddox Maloney up with it. And a quick 1-2-3 inning as Reitz has set down 7 in a row. Going to the bottom of the 5th. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Oregon. 4-3 UVU. It is the NCAA Baseball Regionals presented by Capital One. An overflow crowd, PK Park on a gorgeous Friday night in the Willamette Valley. In the Pacific Northwest, a 4-run third for Utah Valley, and the Ducks responded with 3 in the home half of the 3rd inning. And a 4-3 lead for the Wolverines. Bottom of the 5th, and the DH, Dominic Hellman. The mighty cut. And a fastball from Kirk for strike 1. A couple of groundouts for Hellman, as Corbin Kirk will deal with 2, 3, and 4 in the Oregon lineup in the home 5th. Jacob Walsh, Drew Smith to follow for Mark Wasikowski's Ducks.
Well, something to take a look at right now is 87 pitches already for Corbin Kirk.
The bullpen is cranking for Utah Valley. The 1-1. Hellman takes way outside, and it's 2-1.
And you're going right through the teeth of this Ducks lineup in 2, 3, and 4.
But the problem really is, Wes, is you know, the length of this Oregon lineup. There is no spot to catch your breath. Everyone in this lineup is a threat, and that's grounded through the left side. And Hellman is single to lead off the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Well, right there, Kirk just took a little bit off a fastball, and Hellman finds the 5-6 hole. But you're right, Roxy. Most of your lineups, we're going to get a trip out to the mound.
That's the pitching coach for Utah Valley, Kyle Treadway, heading toward the hill.
He also played with Nate Rasmussen up at Pacific.
Oh, actually, that is Rasmussen. That is the head coach. And he's checking on Corbin Kirk. His lefty Karsten Herman has been tuning up in the bullpen. When the skipper makes a trip like this,
This right here is him going out and saying, nice going, Corbin. You kept us in the game. You gave us an opportunity to win it.
Utah Valley going to the bullpen. Karsten Herman coming in, 4-3 Wolverines. Walked 3, struck out 3, throwing 89 pitches on the heels of that 13 strikeout performance. A brilliant outing at the WAC tournament. And now Corbin Kirk will watch as the bullpen takes over, as Utah Valley clinging to a 4-3 lead. As the lefty out of the bullpen, Karsten Herman, 4-3 with an ERA just over 6. 55 in the third innings. He has 2 saves this year. But walks have been an issue for Herman, as the left-hander hailing from Santa Clara, Utah, transfer from Utah Tech.
Well, you mentioned the walks, 55 in a third inning and 30 walks. Very similar numbers to Corbin Kirk.
Runner at first after Hellman singled chasing Corbin Kirk. And now it's Jacob Walsh who singled and scored in the third, 1 for 2. And he takes a pitch that bounces in front of the plate for ball 1. The all-time home run and RBI leader in Oregon history, Jacob Walsh. And he turns out of the way of a breaking ball up and in. 2-0.
Well, and this is danger zone right now for the Wolverines. A 2-0 count on Walsh, and somebody, you know, if you throw one down the middle here, it's going to be a 5-4 lead, possibly.
Off the end of the bat, and trickles foul. 2-1 the count on Walsh.
He was trying.
First year in the Big Ten for Oregon this year, and they won the Big Ten title and their first conference championship since 1974. The 2-1. Swing and a miss at a high fastball, and it pops out of the glove of the catcher Mason Strong, allowing Dominic Hellman to move up to second base. It's a mighty cut by Walsh.
Not sure if they're going to call that a pass ball or not, or wild pitch, but in any event, keeps the Wolverines out of a double play possibility now.
It is a pass ball charge to the catcher Strong. 2-2. Walsh popped it up out of play. Now Oregon did win a Pac-12 tournament championship a couple of years ago, but you're regarded as the conference champion if you win the regular season, and Oregon did that this year, edging out UCLA because of the tiebreaker. And it's their first conference title since 1974. But keep in mind, Oregon dropped baseball after the 1981 season, and they didn't play Division I baseball again until 2009, and they brought the program back. Runner at second, the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Walsh down on strikes. And a good fastball down low, as Walsh may have swung at ball 4.
He did, and it is ball 4, but because of where Herman had thrown the previous fastballs, which were up and in, and he threw the sliders down and away, this is a fastball down and away. And that's the first fastball in that at bat against Walsh that he threw away.
1 out, runner at second. Cleanup batter Drew Smith. Homered opposite field shot in the third. A 2-run blast, and he goes the other way. And this one will get out of play behind first.
So you mentioned that the Ducks didn't start baseball again until when? 2009. Utah Valley had a baseball program before the Ducks started back.
Well, 2009, the first year that Utah Valley jumped up to Division I. Dominic Hellman at second base. 4-3 Utah Valley in the fifth. Swing and a miss. 0-2 on Drew Smith.
Pitching and fastballs and swing and misses are so much about location, and it's that ball up in the zone that a hitter sees, and it's right by his eyes, and it looks the easiest to hit, and it's the hardest to hit.
Out toward right center field, hustling over is Jaden Smith. Reaches out and tumbles and makes the catch. Tagging, Hellman goes to third on a terrific effort by Smith, hustling over toward right center. So Jaden Smith takes a hit away from Drew Smith.
This is a great play by Jaden Smith. If he doesn't catch his ball, it's in the gap, and it's going to be a triple and a run scored.
Two outs, runner at third. Anson Arrows hit a long home run his last time, 1 for 2. His 17th of the year. Karsten Herman, strike one. Oregon, with their 2 homers tonight, they have out-homered their opponents this year, 109-41.
That's pretty good.
1 strike pitch. Popped up behind the plate, giving it a look, but no play for Mason Strong.
Arrow's home run took what, 2 seconds to get out?
If that. That was launched. And it hit halfway up the light tower and straightaway left. Herman, the 0-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out, elevating, and Herman wiggles out of it for Utah Valley. Hellman stranded at third. We're through 5 in Eugene. The 4 seed, Utah Valley, right now up on the top seed in this regional. Oregon, as we go to the 6th. Part of the order coming up for the Wolverines. Sunday night baseball from Dodger Stadium rematch, the 2024 World Series. The AL East leading Yankees against the NL West leading Dodgers. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Radio. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern with baseball tonight. Sunday night countdown before the Yankees and the Dodgers going old school on Sunday night baseball. Strike one to Landon Fry, heart of the order for the Wolverines in the 6th. As Jason Reitz misses outside. Mason Strong, Dominic Longo to follow for UVU in the 6th. 1-1. Swing and a miss by Fry, who struck out twice tonight, is 0 for 2.
There's a lot of superstars in those 2 lineups, isn't there? The Yankees, you got
Judge, Ohtani, Mookie, Freddie Freeman. 1-2 is fouled off at the plate by Fry.
Aaron Judge is really, really good.
You know when there was that kid in Little League where you just wanted to make sure and check his birth certificate to make sure he was legal? Or if they were too good, you sent them to the next league. The problem is there is no next league for Aaron Judge.
There isn't.
Of course, Dave Roberts was glued to his UCLA Bruins, I'm sure, earlier today in their big win in the Los Angeles Regionals. They put up 19 runs in their first game in a win against Aaron Judge's Fresno State. 2-2. Swing and a miss, got him. Wrights a career-high 12 strikeouts, and he's retired 8 in a row.
3 innings ago, Roxy, we weren't sure that Wrights was going to make it out of the inning. And this is a filthy slider on the outside part, but we weren't sure he's going to get out of the inning where the Wolverines put up 4 on the board. Not only has he done that, after his club scores 3 runs for him, he is been a new pitcher.
1-0 on Mason Strong, a 2-run single in the 3rd. And Wrights, I mentioned earlier, is not the #1 starter for Oregon. Swing and a miss, that tied up Strong. Their usual #1 starter, their Friday night guy, is Grayson Grinsell, who is 9-2 First team all Big Ten this year and a sparkling 2.82 ERA.
Been sensational.
Grinsell and Mark Wasikowski telling us, I asked him, are you going to throw him in game one? He goes, no, because he pitched last Saturday at the Big Ten tournament. I want him on full rest. Therefore, I'm going to start him on Saturday, our second game of the regional. 2-1 pitch is looped behind first down the right field side, pushes foul. And it's 2-2 on Strong here with 1 out. But Grinsell will start tomorrow, and I don't know if Nate Rasmussen, the coach of Utah Valley, tried to use it as some motivation in terms of looking at Oregon and saying, they're not starting the #1 guy against us. And just trying to create a spark and look for something, some extra motivation, and that, oh, they're sliding us. That's not what Mark Wasikowski was doing. Strike 3, Mason Strong gone. 13 strikeouts for Jason Reitz.
Well, Nate Rasmussen told us he used the poker chips for motivation, and when you're in the situation that his club is in, a 1 versus a 4, a 1 that some people think can win the national title, you're going to use whatever motivating things that you can do. You're going to pull everything out.
Ball 1, Dominic Longo is 0 for 2.
But if you asked him before the game started, would you take leading going into the 6th inning? How much would he have?
Where do I sign up for that?
Would he have pushed all in then if he's in Vegas?
2-0 the count on the shortstop for Utah Valley.
He's already a great coach. He's going to be a real good one and be in this game a long time.
Reitz the 2-0. And he's over the century mark, his 101st pitch of the night.
He's in this groove right now. That's a 2-0, something soft, a 2-0 changeup.
Strike 2. And Reitz was third team all Big Ten himself. Career high 13 strikeouts. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strikes out the side. 14 strikeouts for Jason Reitz. Struck out 7 of the last 8 batters. 13 of his 14 have been swinging. Going to the bottom of the 6th. Still 4-3 Utah Valley. I guarantee you the Duck knows how to use squeeze play. ESPN is the home for the NCAA baseball. College regionals, around the clock multi-game coverage. Scan the QR code. ESPN Plus subscribers can access expanded coverage with squeeze play. The Ducks making a squeeze play right now.
Well, you talk about squeeze play. I mean, what a show. If you're not watching us, I mean, Matt Schick, Chris Budden, Mike Rooney, Chris Burke.
Called strike 0-2 to Maddox Maloney, leading off the home 6th.
I mean, it's hard to leave unless you're listening to Roxy Bernstein.
Unless you're my wife. The 0-2, check swing and a pitch that bounces.
I was trying, I mean, literally, that's one of the first positive things I've ever said, and you just couldn't say thank you.
Maloney singled in the 2nd, and a fly out in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2. Ball and 2 strikes on the Oregon shortstop. In the air, this will push out of play. As Karsten Herman on in relief of Corbin Kirk, who started for Utah Valley. And this is the first ranked opponent that Utah Valley has played since they took on number 25 Grand Canyon in April of 2022. 1-2 grounded to short. Routine for Dominic Longo the 2nd. And he gets Maddox Maloney at first.
Every out, every inning that goes by, Utah Valley gets more confidence.
Karsten Herman has retired all 4 Ducks since coming in. Chase Meggers 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts tonight. Overshift on by Utah Valley defensively. There's a strike to Meggers. This is more the conventional shift, as the third baseman Bach is even with the bag at third. The shortstop Longo was on the right side of second base, and Landon Fry is out in shallow right. Hard grounder back through the middle, but backhanded by Longo, stationed behind second base perfectly, and he throws out Chase Meggers, as then went right through the pitcher Herman, and luckily for the Wolverines didn't touch their pitcher.
That's the one where a head coach and your pitching coach is saying, get out of the way of this thing, because we have them positioned defensively perfect, and we're going to get a look at it.
Right through the 5-hole.
It misses Herman, and Longo to second says thank you very much.
Here's Ryan Cooney, who's walked twice, and he takes a strike from Karsten Herman. But you look at the schedule that Utah Valley played this year, and they didn't play a ranked opponent until tonight. And their non-conference schedule was okay. UC Riverside, San Jose State, UC Davis, Northern Colorado, Portland, UNLV, Utah, BYU. Fly ball left center, drifting over, Jimmy DeAnda, and he collides with the center fielder, Jaden Smith, and hanging on is DeAnda, the left fielder, after taking a bump from Jaden Smith. Anxious moments for the Wolverines. They still lead at 4-3. Well, the offense for Utah Valley against Jason Reitz coming in the third, as the Wolverines sent 8 to the plate, scoring 4 times, built a 4-0 lead. Oregon got their 3 runs in the bottom of the third, and that's where we sit 4-3, as Nate Rasmussen in Utah Valley with the lead into the 7th. 6, 7, and 8 for the Wolverines against Reitz, who's up over 100 pitches as he starts the 7th, and he runs that one inside, ball 1 to Nate Bach. Brody Block, CJ Collier to follow. 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors for Utah Valley. 3 runs, 6 hits, an error for Oregon. Jason Reitz, the 6'11" right-hander for the Ducks, has struck out 14. But the Ducks trail. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
2 touchdowns were. It's quite fitting. The football stadium is right here.
How long did it take you to come up with that one?
You're kidding, right? I mean, this stuff just comes to me.
3-1 on Bach, leading off the 7th for Utah Valley in their 2nd NCAA tournament appearance. And the count is run full on Nate Bach.
Now you're getting up to 108 pitches.
The pitch, and that's off the outside, ball 4. And a leadoff walk for Utah Valley. And it's their first base runner since that 4-run third. In fact, the only base runners tonight prior to this leadoff walk by Nate Bach to open up the 7th were in that 3rd inning. Every other frame, Jason Reitz has gone 1, 2, 3. Brody Block, the DH, moved to first, and diving back is Nate Bach. Well, the bag is Nate Bach has 12 steals on the year.
Well, the Ducks, Garate, the third baseman, he's in on the grass right now, or I should say turf, or whatever you want to call it, but
he's playing shallow.
He's playing shallow. Possibly expecting a bunt.
And he gets drilled with a pitch, and Utah Valley has 2 on. Nate Bach to second, and Block is aboard as the first 2 Wolverines reach. In that 4-run rally for Utah Valley in the 3rd, started with a leadoff walk, a leadoff walk here in the 7th. Now the hit by pitch.
Yeah, this is just right. I think, in my personal opinion, the last couple innings was adrenaline, and this right now is just fatigue, in my opinion.
And a pitching change for Oregon as the pitching coach for the Ducks. Blake Hawksworth makes the change after 6+ from Jason Reitz in this one. Reitz gives up 4 hits. But Jason Reitz with 14 strikeouts. He's walked 2 and also has hit a batter. But a great effort tonight by Reitz, and now he turns it over to the bullpen with Oregon down a run.
Well, he was shaky in that 3rd inning, but then he just turned it on, and he kept his team in the game. They're only chasing 1 run, but in this situation right now, Mark Wasikowski can ill afford to give up any more runs. Already chasing a run with just 9 outs to go for his hitters.
And the new pitcher for Oregon is Santiago Garcia. The sophomore from Las Cruces, New Mexico, takes over here with nobody out in the 7th and 2 aboard for Utah Valley.
And you just wonder what Nace Rasmussen is thinking about doing right now with 1st and 2nd and no outs, because you know, he knows, and he told us 4 runs was not going to win this game. So when we talked to him, and so you just wonder, they're in the 8 hole with C.J. Collier coming up, a right-handed hitter, and then the right-handed DeAnda on deck.
And keep in mind, DeAnda has an RBI double already tonight, the 9-hitter. And we look at our bracket for the Eugene Regional, and Arizona with the win already today over Cal Poly. In the winner's bracket, they get the winner of this game. 3-2 win for the Wildcats earlier today, as Arizona only had 2 hits but won the game 3-2 behind outstanding pitching and terrific defense in that win over the Big West Tournament champions. And Arizona, by the way, they are now 11-1 in 1-run games this season. That is the best record in the country. And they win their first game, or first 1-run game in a regional opener since 2010 when they beat Baylor. And Easton Breifogel, a 2-run homer and a 3-0 lead. They made stand up. 3-2, they win it. And now it's Santiago Garcia in there for Oregon with 2 on and nobody out, and C.J. Collier coming up for Utah Valley. That's a throw into center field on a pickoff. And the runners advance on an error charge of the Oregon pitcher. And Wes, that was more to see if Utah Valley was going to tip their hand rather than to pick off the runner at second base.
You're right, Rock. That's all that was, and we see it across the game where 1st and 2nd and no outs, and you're not sure. And in this case, Oregon, Mark Wasikowski wants to know, are they going to tip their hand, or are they going to square and bunt? And it's an errant throw, and just like that, the bunt actually happened without a pitch being thrown.
And no out recorded. 1-0 on Collier, who singled and scored back in the 3rd.
And the Ducks, and this is the confidence that Wasikowski has in his offense. They're going to give up a run. They're playing back up the middle. Their corners are in.
1-0 pitch. Collier takes a strike from Santiago Garcia. 23rd appearance for Garcia, which leads the Oregon staff along with Cole Stokes. He's 3-0 with 4 saves. And he has a 4.18 ERA. Garcia has 38 strikeouts, but 18 walks in 28 innings this year.
Not a hard thrower at all. You're going to see a lot of soft breaking pitches and changeups.
2-1. Popped up, out of play. Two and 2 on C.J. Collier.
Collier just trying to put the ball in play here, somewhere up the middle.
Garcia delivers, and that's fouled off. So the WAC tournament champs, Utah Valley, up 4-3 on the Big Ten champion Oregon Ducks. Two-two. Swing and a miss, got him. Struck him out on a breaking ball, biting down and in, and an enormous strikeout for Santiago Garcia.
Well, it's a hard curveball down and in, and to your point, Roxy, just a tremendous pitch. Now it brings up DeAnda, and as you take a look at Santiago Garcia's numbers, 28 innings, and Roxy mentioned the 18 walks. But then you also see the 38 punch-outs. And that's
now
what
Oregon pulls the infield in with 1 out.
And it makes sense.
Ball 1 to Jimmy DeAnda. RBI double and a run scored back in that 4-run third.
And
he's also struck out.
Excuse me, right? And in my opinion, the best at bat of the game so far. He got behind the count 0-2, first and second, brought it back to a 3-2 count, then got the base hit.
2-0. Nate Bach at third, Brody Block at second base, 1 out. Here comes the 2-0. Hit back through the middle, into center, past the drawn-in infield. 1 run is in. Brody Block rounding third, and a 2-run single for Jimmy DeAnda, who has driven in 3 for Utah Valley. And the Wolverines leading Oregon now 6-3.
DeAnda has been that dude for the Wolverines. Garcia tried to sneak a fastball on the inside part. DeAnda hit it right back up the middle. And you mentioned, Roxy, the Ducks pulled their infield in. Maloney probably catches that ball for an out if they're back. It's a game of baseball.
Back to the top of the order, and Luke Iverson for UVU. And that's high from Garcia for ball 1. A stunner developing right now at PK Park as the 4-seed Wolverines of Utah Valley with a 6-3 lead. There is a strike from Garcia, 1-1, and we had a shocker up the road that just concluded in Corvallis. The number 8 national seed, Oregon State, losing to the WCC tournament champs, the St. Mary's Gales, and Eric Valenzuela's team with a win. They have the runner picked off. Stumbling is Walsh. Back to his feet. Now throws it wildly to second base. Lunging back, and they got him. Wasn't the prettiest defensive play, but it works for Oregon. The caught stealing 1-3-6. As they had Jimmy DeAnda leaning the wrong way.
Well, we'll get a look at it. Walsh just pulls this throw. But DeAnda trying to do everything he can to get underneath that tag.
1-2 on Iverson now. So St. Mary's in the winner's bracket up in Corvallis playing USC, and TCU and Oregon State in an elimination game tomorrow.
I can't remember the last time that the Beavers have lost a first game in a regional hosting up there.
I'm trying to remember the 2014 regional, which they lost at home when they were the #1 team in the country. Do you remember if they lost the first game?
I do not.
That was, and I want to say that Pat Casey held back their #1. I'm trying to remember 2014. As it just missed high with a breaking ball.
I can't remember yesterday.
Remember Arizona played earlier today?
So I can't remember yesterday, so you're on your own.
Full count on Iverson. The pitch. And it's ball 4, missed high with a breaking ball. And a 2-out base runner for Utah Valley to bring Jaden Smith up for Utah Valley. So here is the Corvallis Regional. Early tomorrow, Oregon State TCU in an elimination game. And St. Mary's, the 4-seed against the 3-seed Trojans. First postseason win for USC in 10 years.
What a job by Andy Stankovic. And everybody had that on their bingo card, right? The elimination game was Oregon State and TCU. That's why we play the games, and that's why we love this time of year in college baseball.
0-1 on Jaden Smith with 2 outs. Smith 0 for 3 tonight. And he chops it toward first, handled by Jacob Walsh, and he steps on the bag to retire the side. But Utah Valley adds their lead. The 2-run single by Jimmy DeAnda. We're stretching in Oregon. 6-3, Utah Valley. Well, since the implementation of the 64-team field, and this was started in 1999, and the 16 regional sites of 4 teams moving away from the 48 and 8 regional sites of 6. 67% of regional hosts have moved on, and 17% of teams to reach Omaha did so without a round at home. Only 17%. Oregon, the home team in this regional and the top seed, is down 6-3 as we start the bottom of the 7th with Carter Garate taking strike 1 from Karsten Herman. And a breaking ball floats to the backstop off the glove of the catcher Mason Strong. It's 1-1.
And this is where you start counting outs on both sides.
1-1 on Garate, a ground out and a fly out. He's 0 for 2. Herman has retired all 6 batters since coming in. 1-2.
But normally a lineup will, you're going to have to get through the first 5 of the lineup. But you mentioned earlier in the game, this is not an Oregon lineup that has a free pass at all. They're all dangerous.
Line the other way. That's slicing out of play. Final line, by the way, on Jacob Reitz. The big righty for Oregon ends up giving up 6 runs, 5 earned in his 6 innings. Only 4 hits allowed with the career best 14 strikeouts. Swing and a miss and a strikeout. The 3rd for Karsten Herman. 1 out.
Well, you look at Herman right there. He wasn't pleased with the location of the pitch. It's up in the zone and a breaking pitch, and he was taking a look at his hand, it looked like.
One out. Mason Neville, 1 for 3. Top of the order for Oregon. Lines it the other way, and a single for the nation's home run leader. And a 2-hit night for Neville. In both of his hits, Wes, the other way.
You know, and this is, you're right, Roxy. This is a great at-bat by somebody who's got 26 home runs. He went up there just trying to get on base. That's all he was trying to do. His team's chasing 3 runs, and he knew his job is just to try to get a base hit.
1 out single for Neville. Hit number 7 for Oregon. Dominic Hellman singled in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. And he looks at a strike from Karsten Herman. We've seen some hosts lose already today. We just mentioned Oregon State. Mighty cut. It's 0-2 on Hellman. And Oregon in jeopardy here, trailing at 6-3 in the 7th.
We talked about Hellman. He can hit a ball a mile, but he also has a problem making contact at times this year.
Strike 3 called right in there from Karsten Herman. 4th strikeout for the Utah Valley lefty, and Hellman gone looking.
Well, this ball is just right down the middle. The previous 2 fastballs were up out of the zone, and this one right down Broadway.
2 outs. Here is Jacob Walsh. Singled and scored in the 3rd. He's 1 for 3, and he fouls it straight back.
And Walsh was the first hitter that Herman came in to face when he punched him out.
Neville, the runner at first for the Ducks. Way outside from Herman, 1-1.
And how he worked him last at bat is he tried to throw in on his hands, and he threw the slider away, and then he locked him up with that fastball away for the punch out.
Karsten Herman, the 1-1. And that's outside to Walsh. 2-1. Now remember, this is a double elimination format. So even if Oregon was to stumble and lose this game, they are still in this regional. Grounded foul by Walsh. But they would have to try to come back through the loser's bracket. Two balls, two strikes. The pitch. Swing and a miss, elevating. Karsten Herman, 3 strikeouts in the inning. A runner left for Oregon. We're through 7 now in Eugene. Utah Valley 6, Oregon 3, and Karsten Herman out of the bullpen. It's been huge for the Wolverines. Ducks go to the bullpen again for the righty Cole Stokes. 1-2 with a 3.10 ERA. A couple of saves for Stokes after 1 inning from Santiago Garcia. And the big sophomore righty from Redondo Beach, California, the Southern California native, with the Ducks down 6-3 as we go to the 8th inning.
Well, he's been tremendous out of the bullpen, and right now the Ducks can ill afford to give up another run, already chasing 3 with just 6 outs to go. Stokes 6'6", although not the tallest to pitch today.
Heart of the order for Utah Valley here in the 8th. Landon Fry, Mason Strong, Dominic Longo II against Stokes. And Fry takes ball 1. He has struck out 3 times tonight, 0 for 3. Third pitcher used by Oregon. Cole Stokes. And that slider misses high. It's 2-0. Stokes last worked in that 3-game sweep of Iowa to end the regular season. Worked twice in that series against the Hawkeyes, an inning and a third back on May 16th 2 weeks ago, then pitched the next day a third of an inning. 3-0 on Fry. A transfer from Utah. And Fry turns out of the way, and a 4-pitch walk to open up the top of the 8th. Utah Valley scored in 2 innings. They scored 4 in the 3rd, 2 in the 7th, and in both of those frames, it was a leadoff walk that got them going.
And there's going to be a trip out to the mound, but we have not seen a sacrifice bunt from Utah Valley. We didn't see it very much at all during the season. And I think
I'm guessing their cleanup batter, Mason Strong, will not.
He's not also, but it also tells you who Nate Rasmussen is. He didn't do it during the season. And as a skipper, if you start doing something different in the postseason because you're nervous, or you are afraid to do something, you're not sure of what's going on, you change the way you have played the entire year, your players are going to notice it. And you know, we talked about Nate Rasmussen. He's going to be he already is a tremendous college coach, but I think he's got a great future as a college coach.
Mason Strong, a 2-run single in the 3rd, squares, but he pulls the bat back, and it's ball 1. And wondering if that was just for show on the first pitch.
Well, it puts the seed in Garate, the third baseman for the Ducks. It puts the seed in his head. He came in, had to go back.
Utah Valley has 5 sacrifice bunts all year, and it's 2-0 is a walker on the mound. Cole Stokes can't find the plate. Fry at first, the 2-0, and that's in there for a strike. But for Stokes this year, Walks have been an issue, 14 and 20 to 3rd. He does have 39 strikeouts. Throw to first and skipped, and Walsh's throw to second base gets away from Maddox Maloney. Cole Stokes guessed right, but Landon Fry is safe at second base. That is a steal.
Well, Fry left early. He left early. You see him leave early, and Walsh's throw is errant.
Swing and a miss by Mason Strong.
Well, this is where situational hitting really comes into play. Runner at second, no outs. You're already up 3 runs. The ball can be hit to the right side. You move that runner over to third with less than 2.
Up and in, full count on Strong. By the way, the second stolen base for UVU tonight. That gives him 116 now on the year, and for Fry is 11. They have 7 different players with double-digit steals, and that's ball 4. And there's 2 on for Utah Valley with nobody out. The NCAA Baseball Regionals coverage for all 16 sites continues tomorrow on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. And the Utah Valley Wolverine fans enjoying themselves as Oregon will go to the bullpen again. Utah Valley right now out in front 6-3, forcing Oregon to make another pitching change. For Oregon, after Cole Stokes walked 2, and now the freshman from Cotati making just his 4th appearance, as Bradley hails from Cotati, which is north of San Francisco. And Bradley this season has only pitched 3 innings. He is not allowed a hit, and he has struck out 4. So a limited opportunities, he has been good, and now comes into this situation. Wes, he needs to make sure this stays a 6-3 ball game.
You're right, Rox. You mentioned just 3 innings, first and second, and no outs for Utah Valley. I think the big question here, we talked about it. This is a Utah Valley team that does not bunt. And in this situation, the hitter at the plate, Longo the second, he's arguably their best contact hitter. But behind him, if Longo bunts, Longo the second bunts, Nate Bach strikes out a bunch.
Bradley, the freshman, delivers, and that's a slider that's high. 1-0 on Dominic Longo the second, who has struck out 3 times tonight. He is 0 for 3. Bradley last pitched against Nebraska last Saturday in Omaha at the Big Ten tournament. Worked a 1/3 of an inning, struck out the only batter that he faced as he sends bodies scampering around in the Utah Valley dugout after a scorching bouncer pulled. And luckily everybody's okay in the Utah Valley dugout.
Well, it's a lot easier to smile when you're up 3 runs when that happens.
Bradley also threw an inning and 2/3 against St. Mary's back in early May. And it's 2-1 now on Longo, and his only other appearance, his college debut, he worked an inning against Columbia back on March 1st. Columbia also a tournament team, but you know the final score of that game?
That was a 35-run game or something?
35-1,
Yeah.
Oregon beat Columbia. Two-1. In the air to right. Drew Smith backing up a bit, tagging at second is Landon Fry, who breaks for third. And the throw comes in towards second base, and the fly ball moves Landon Fry over to third. 1 out, runners at the corners for Utah Valley.
You want to talk about a quality at bat where you make an out? You just saw one right there. 2-strike approach, puts the ball in play deep enough for Fry to get over to third, and now it gives the Wolverines that opportunity to score a run with an out. The Ducks are going to elect to play their middle back.
Double play position. Fry at third, Strong the runner at first. Nate Bach 0 for 2 with a walk and a run. And it's ball one from Bradley. One and 0. The pitch. And that's down and away from Bradley. 2 balls, no strikes. 6-3 Utah Valley looking to stun the Big Ten champion Oregon Ducks in their opening game of the NCAA tournament. And for Utah Valley, just the second time in their program's history they are in the NCAA tournament.
And you can sense the Duck crowd knows it. This is a big, we've had a lot of big moments in this game. We're looking at a huge one now.
Anxious, tense moments. And Bradley delivers a strike. It's 3-1.
This is what you would call an action pitch. 3-1 count. You would expect a fastball. And we know Buck can hit a fastball, has trouble with off speed.
Swing and a miss. That was the heater from Bradley. And a full count on Nate Bach. Landon Fry at third. Mason Strong at first. Bradley the 3-2. Swing and a miss, struck him out. Runner goes, hung up in a rundown, coming home. Throw! Out at the plate, trying the double steal. Mason Strong tried to draw the throw, he did. But Ryan Cooney, a great read by the Oregon second baseman. And Utah Valley is challenging this play. They're holding Oregon up before the dugout. And the head coach, Nate Rasmussen, wants to challenge this and wants a review. My guess is, by the eye, he was out. But was there a path? And I think that's the question.
Well, they're questioning if
Nate Rasmussen is asking.
If Chase Meggers, the catcher for Oregon, gave a path to Fry to slide to the dish.
Utah Valley is challenging obstruction, call it home plate, and the out.
So that's what they are challenging, the obstruction. Did Chase Meggers give a lane to Landon Fry trying to score from third base?
And keep in mind, they're going to look at the initial setup of Meggers. The throw can take a catcher to a place up the line. We'll get a look at it right here. Now Meggers throws from his knees, so he's already there. And Rox, this is going to be a tough one because he's in front of that plate where he sets up.
He definitely blocked a lane.
I mean,
for Fry to try and score. There's back now. The replay operations center is the one making the call in communication with our umpires, and AJ Wendell, our plate umpire.
He's in front of the plate, and there's no question it is, and it's because of he threw from his knees on the throw down. So once the runner Fry comes into the dish, he's got to literally crawl with his knees, and he crawls in front of the plate. And there's no question that he crawled in front of the plate. The question is going to be on a review, do they think he was in front of the plate? And for it doesn't look like he is.
From that review, it looked like it, but was there a path? And I think there may have been a path
just on the outside
to try to score.
Just on the outside part of the dish?
Yes.
It could be, but it's close.
After review, the call of out at home plate.
We were rudely interrupted, but I do believe he said confirmed. Out at the plate, trying to steal home, and it stays a 6-3 ball game. Going to the bottom of the 8th, middle third of the order coming up for the Ducks. Well, the Oregon offense tonight, all their runs came in the bottom of the third and back-to-back homers from Drew Smith. His 3rd of the year. And then this drive from Anson Arrows, number 17, a no-doubter hammered. And after Utah Valley got 4 in the top of the 3rd, Oregon got 3 in their half. It stayed a 4-3 game until Utah Valley got 2 in the top of the 7th. 6-3 Wolverines, bottom of the 8th. Drew Smith drills it to left, going back, and it is gone. Second tonight for Drew Smith. He had 2 all season coming in. 6-4 Utah Valley. And there's life in Oregon again.
There's a lot of life, and you can tell this crowd right now is going to be the 10th player on this Ducks lineup right now.
Anson Arrows went back-to-back with Smith in the 3rd. He climbs in. And it's ball 1 from Karsten Herman. Arrows 1 for 3 tonight. Ball 2.
It's getting really loud.
No activity as of now in the Utah Valley bullpen. 3-0 on Arrows. And this full house
on their feet, all of them.
In full throat right now at PK Park. Strike 1.
And this is all about getting outs for Utah Valley. They're just trying to count. They got 6 outs.
Ball 4, Anson Arrows is on. That'll bring the tying run to the plate for the Ducks. And with that, we get activity beginning in the Wolverines bullpen. Their closer, Cooper Littledyke, begins to throw. And a mound visit from Kyle Treadway, the pitching coach for Utah Valley.
And this is all about a trip of calm down, breathe. It's just a baseball game. You can see the animation out there.
Now the plate umpire, A.J. Wendell, going out to break up the meeting. Maddox Maloney, 1 for 3, single back in the 2nd, will be the hitter for Oregon. A homer by Smith to lead off the inning for the Ducks. Anson Arrows at first. Huge hole in the right side of the infield for Maloney. Ball 1. Fry, the second baseman, on the left side of second base for Maloney. And the first baseman, Collier, hanging right near the bag. Swing and a miss, a mighty cut by Maloney.
Real good breaking pitch from Herman. And a lot of times when a pitcher loses command with his fastball, it's the best thing to do is call something soft.
1-1 on Maddox Maloney. Karsten Herman, ground ball, beat the shift, dribbles into right. Anson Arrows goes around to 3rd. It did the trick for Maddox Maloney.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but it worked. It's a 5-hopper through an empty 4-hole. And still no outs. First and third for the Ducks.
Chase Meggers, the batter, and now an offensive conference. Mark Wasikowski, the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Coach Waz brings the Ducks around him. As Karsten Herman, after breezing through 3 innings out of the Utah Valley bullpen, Herman had struck out 5, given up just 1 hit. But touched up by Oregon. Drew Smith, the solo homer to start the inning. Walk, single. And that's the 3rd time of the 9 hits tonight that Oregon has taken advantage of the shift, where they've just hit a ball in an area vacated by the Utah Valley defender.
And this gets back to, are you going to change the way you played the entire year, or are you going to change it because you're in a regional? Speaking of Utah Valley, because you got a 2-run lead.
Chase Meggers struck out twice and grounded out. He is 0 for 3. Nobody out, last of the 8th. Meggers in the air toward the left field corner, pushing, foul. PK Park is electric right now. Fouled away again by Meggers down the left side. The Ducks are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position tonight. All their runs have come on home runs. 2-run blast by Smith. Also a solo shot for Smith and a solo blast from Arrows. 0-2 is fouled back by the Oregon catcher.
Well, Herman pitching Meggers very similar to the way he pitched Jacob Reitz, another left-hand hitter. It's kind of pinch him inside, up and in, and then throw something soft down and away.
In the air, shallow left. Jimmy DeAnda coming in. Makes the catch, tagging. Arrows trying to score. Throw to the plate, and it gets through the catcher, Mason Strong, who gets buried by Arrows. And he comes back to touch the plate. Going to second is Maloney. It's 6-5, and here is Nate Rasmussen coming out to challenge the call at the plate. And down on a knee is Mason Strong. He was leveled by Arrows.
And again, this is going to be a conversation about intent by Arrows on the collision. Was he trying to knock over Strong
and dislodge the ball?
And not, he obviously knocked him over.
And now Mark Wasikowski coming out of his first base dugout.
Somebody's not going to be happy on either side. One of the two.
And the athletic trainer still looking at Mason Strong, who's down on a knee on top of the plate. The ruling on the field was safe. And now the umpires are coming over to talk to Mark Wasikowski as Mason Strong still getting looked at. A fly ball to left off the bat of Chase Meggers. At this point, Mark Wasikowski, with this conversation, pleading his case. That's the plate umpire, A.J. Wendell, and Rick Allen, our third base umpire.
Rock's my guess. Wasikowski's not very happy with what he heard so far.
He went back to his dugout. The umpires will get together again near the mound. Nate Rasmussen, the Utah Valley coach, still out there.
Utah Valley has challenged malicious contact at home plate.
So the challenge for the contact at home plate, again, it goes back to our replay operations center. The ruling on the field was safe at the plate, sac fly to left for Magers, and on the throw, Maddox Maloney, the runner at first, went to second base.
And we're going to get another look at it.
Was there malicious contact? And my feeling, Wes, Anson Arrows was just coming in toward the plate, and the catcher Strong was out in front trying to get the throw.
I would agree with you, Roxy, and I think you can add that the throw from Deanda took a high hop, and it put Mason Strong in a very vulnerable position because it was up and it was high. And so Strong had to go up high with his glove, doesn't catch it, but he put him in a very vulnerable position. But to your point, Roxy, I don't think there was malicious intent by Arrows to dislodge the ball. The ball was already dislodged. It wasn't caught.
It looked to me that Arrows was just trying to get to home plate.
And I agree, but it's not obviously if you got two challenges, if you're a head coach, you're going to use one. And your Utah Valley, you're going to use it right there. But I think the high hop took Strong out of position and made him vulnerable.
So the challenge from Utah Valley for the malicious play in their eyes, with the runner Arrows barreling into home plate, and the contact with the catcher Mason Strong. And there's a few things they're looking at also. They're also, I believe, checking out the potential obstruction as well, even though the runner was ruled safe.
Right. Now, throw out the malicious contact. Was Mason Strong, did Mason Strong give Arrows a clear path to the plate? The answer to that question would be no.
Well, we saw it come into play in the top of the inning, and that review went Oregon's way.
It did. So there's a couple things involved here.
And keep in mind, Arrows missed the plate initially, it looks like, as he barreled over Strong and missed the plate, but you see him come back and touch home plate. So lengthy review, and this is a critical call in this game.
So if we can freeze it right where Strong is now, is there a clear path for Arrows? The answer would be no. Right there, there's not a clear path. Wouldn't you agree, Rox?
It appears that Mason Strong is standing in the pathway of Arrows trying to come in from third.
It does. And now the ball takes the high hop, which now makes Mason Strong very vulnerable for this collision right here. And I don't think there was any malicious intent by Arrows right there. I think he was just trying to protect his own self because of where Mason Strong was positioned, which was in front of the plate.
And again, the ruling on the field was safe at home. That is under review by the replay operations center. If the call stands, it is 6-5 Utah Valley. Oregon will have a runner at second base with one out. So on the 0-2 pitch, Chase Magers was the batter, the 7-hitter for Oregon that hit the fly ball to left. And the throw from Jimmy Deanda in left field to the plate to Mason Strong, who came out to try to get the throw. Then there was the collision with Anson Arrows, the runner coming in from third base for Oregon.
But it does look like Arrows was trying to protect himself.
Because he did come in awkwardly.
He did.
Toward Mason Strong.
He did. It looked like Arrows was trying to protect himself of the collision.
And they're also looking at a number of different things in this review. The potential obstruction, which could factor in. If they do deem it to be unnecessary with the contact and malicious from Arrows. Utah Valley's been standing out there for a long time.
And keep in mind that it's 6-5 as we speak. This ruling is huge.
So the obstruction rule. Now here is from the NCAA rule book. Defensive player cannot block a base without clear possession of the ball, which Strong did not have. He was reaching for the throw from DeAnda. But what they're also looking for, not just that, but again, potential malicious contact from Anson Arrows, the runner at third, as we're about 5 minutes now into this review.
Well, it was clear to us that Mason Strong was in front of the plate before he had the baseball. There was not a clear path for Arrows. Now the ball hops and it's high to Mason Strong, and I think the reason there was contact by Arrows is solely because Mason Strong was in front of the plate. That's my take of it.
And right in line with the third base line coming to home.
Correct.
So Strong was checked out by the athletic trainer for Utah Valley and is okay. He was back there behind the plate. And Karsten Herman, the Utah Valley pitcher, having a running conversation right now with our second base umpire, Jason Venson, behind the mound, as it's still being reviewed. This is a huge call in this game. The ruling on the field again was safe at home on a fly ball to left. And they're looking at a couple of things with this review. Malicious contact from the runner Anson Arrows, and also potential obstruction.
Which was the first thing that Utah Valley's head coach Nate Rasmussen came out to talk about, was a malicious contact.
And I believe that Mark Wasikowski came out to say, hey, wait a second here. What about potential obstruction?
Correct.
We may be getting a verdict. I see them reaching for the headset. But Mason Strong, trying to hold his ground, got run over, and the contact coming from Anson Arrows down the line.
You know, with all due respect, it's a tough job, but we got to be able to make a decision prior to this long. We have to. I mean, you got pitcher on the mound out there. You got players standing around.
All right, here we go. The umpires making their way back out. We'll hear from Rick Allen.
Upon video review, the catch in the outfield results in out number 1. The play at the plate, there's no obstruction. But the contact was malicious, resulting in an out and an ejection of number 77.
So
the runner at first base returns to first base.
And Mark Wasikowski going ballistic. Coming out of the first base dugout. That results in a disqualification as Anson Arrows has been thrown out of the game for the malicious contact at home plate.
And Mark Wasikowski has to be careful to not be thrown out, or he won't be here tomorrow.
We had a review of about 7 minutes. Arrows is called out, and he's also thrown out of the game. And the first out was Meggers in the fly ball to left. And now the runner, Maddox Maloney, who tagged and went to second, has to go back to first base. And with the ejection, Arrows is not available for their game tomorrow.
You are correct. And it's basically a dead ball from the time that DeAnda catches the baseball.
So there are 2 outs. Maddox Maloney has to go back to first. After the call was overturned, the malicious contact ruled against Anson Arrows. There he is leaving the playing field. So he's ejected from the remainder of this one. And because he was tossed out of this game, it's not available for Mark Wasikowski and Oregon in their game here tomorrow. Wow. 2 outs. Maloney at first, Ryan Cooney the batter for Oregon. 6-4 Utah Valley. So you take the run off the board, and it's a strike on the inside edge to Cooney. And this crowd has turned angry really quickly. One strike pitch, and it's ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. A stunning turn of events here in the bottom of the 8th. The 1-1. And that's a strike to the outer half. To Ryan Cooney, it's 1-2 on the 8-hitter, the Oregon second baseman. So it's technically ruled a double play on a fly out to left and a put out at the plate of Arrows. 1-2, way outside.
It's just interesting. It took a long time for them to determine malicious intent.
And there was a lot to look at, though.
There was, but we talked about it.
2-2. Swinging a ball, popped up. This will get out of play behind first.
I mean, you heard our opinion. My opinion was Mason Strong was in front of the plate without the baseball. Arrows had no place to go. The ball was a high hopper. Mason Strong had to reach up off his glove. What was Arrows supposed to do when Mason Strong is 2 feet in front of the plate?
2 balls, 2 strikes on Ryan Cooney. Karsten Herman. The pitch. Runner goes. Fouled away by Ryan Cooney. Maddox Maloney back to first. This inning started with the homer by Drew Smith to make it 6-4. Then Arrows walked. A single by Maddox Maloney. Runners at the corners with nobody out. And then the controversial play. 2-2 pitch. Cooney swings and in the air. Right field playable for Luke Iverson. Toward the line, makes the catch. Side retired. Ducks get a run on 2 hits. We're going to the 9th. The 4 seed Utah Valley up 6-4 on Oregon. The NCAA Baseball Regionals are presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? 6-4 Utah Valley. A bizarre bottom of the 8th as the Oregon fans frustrated as the review went Utah Valley's way, and the Wolverines take a 6-4 lead to the 9th. Tanner Bradley the pitch, bottom of the order for the Wolverines. And ball 1 to Brody Block, followed by C.J. Collier, and then Jimmy DeAnda. One change for Oregon, with Arrows being tossed out of the game, the Oregon left fielder. The 1-0 pitch, it's ball 2. The new left fielder is Jeffrey Hurd, the senior, a transfer from Sacramento State, takes over for the Ducks in left field. Ball 3. Brody Block hit by a pitch in his walk tonight. There is Hurd now in left. Block is 0 for 1. Freshman Bradley. And it's a strike to the outside edge of the plate. It's 3-1. But the review lasted over 7 minutes. And the 3-1. Bounces back toward the field of play off the top of the grandstand of PK Park, and a full count on Brody Block leading off the night.
Just wonder what that conversation was like for 7 minutes.
They were looking at a number of things. 3-2. Foul back. In addition to the malicious contact, which was ruled on the play, and it was Nate Rasmussen that challenged it for Utah Valley, but then Mark Wazakowski bringing up potential obstruction on the play. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Got him with a changeup. 1 out in the ninth.
Well, it's just a great off-speed pitch, a changeup. The bottom drops out of it for a big first out of this 9th inning.
C.J. Collier, the batter, 1 for 3 with a run, singled back in the 3rd. And he turns out of the way of a slider inside. If you're looking toward the bottom of the 9th, Oregon will have 9, 1, and 2 due to bad. Carter Garate, Mason Neville, Dominic Hellman. That's a strike from Bradley, evens the count. Cooper Littledyke, the closer for Utah Valley, was up. And he is hovering around the mound in the Wolverines bullpen. Karsten Herman has gone 4 innings of relief for Utah Valley after Corbin Kirk started. Jason Wright started for Oregon, and the 6'11" right-hander struck out a career best 14, but giving up 6 runs, 5 earned. Grounded to 3rd, picked up by Carter Garate. 2 gone. Here comes Jimmy DeAnda, who's had a big night at the plate for Utah Valley. 2 for 3, has driven in 3 of the Wolverines' 6 runs out of the 9-hole in their order.
If the Wolverines go on to hold this lead and win this game, Jimmy is the MVP for me. He had the big at-bat in the 3rd inning. Got behind 0-2. They had 1st and 2nd. There was no outs. He got the base hit to drive in a run and had the big 2-run single up the middle to put the 6 runs on the board.
2-0. You can't overlook the performance either of Karsten Herman out of the bullpen.
There's no question about it.
2-0 on Jimmy DeAnda. The pitch. That's a strike from Bradley. Two and 1 on Jimmy DeAnda. Tanner Bradley. The pitch. And a slider on the inside edge, 2-2.
The other thing about DeAnda on that controversial play at home, he made a tremendous throw. It just, unfortunately for him, took the high hop. Otherwise, a low hop, they get the runner.
2-2. DeAnda takes low on a full count as the changeup dropped.
This is where, when a hitter looks like this, he's locked in. He's not even flinching on any of the off-speed pitches.
Payoff pitch. DeAnda swings and a tapper at the plate, picked up in fair territory, and Chase Magers throws out DeAnda at first. Bradley works a 1-2-3, top of the 9th. We're going to the bottom of the 9th. Utah Valley looking for the upset. The Ducks chasing 2. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Utah Valley up 6-4. And a huge call in this game that was overturned and went Utah Valley's way. Originally ruled safe, Anson Arrows scoring, but upon review, after a lengthy review, the call was overturned due to malicious contact from the runner, Anson Arrows, that took the run off the board. Mark Wazakowski was steaming. Anson Arrows, because of the malicious contact, was thrown out of the game. And it's 6-4 Utah Valley as Carter Garate ducks out of the way of ball one to start the bottom of the ninth.
Well, it would have been 6-5 with one out and a runner in second for the Ducks.
Throws the hands up, it's ball two. Karsten Herman, trying to close it out, has gone 4 innings of relief. Their closer, Cooper Littledyke, has been warming up in the bullpen. Garate showing bunt, it's a strike. 2-1 on Garate, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
Well, it's just such a key hitter for Herman to get out.
Ball 3 on Garate is the nation's home run leader. Mason Neville looming on deck for Oregon.
And this is where, if you're Herman, you just rear back and go dead red middle.
And it's ball 4, and the leadoff runner is on, and here comes Neville as the tying run.
And that's all the Ducks were trying to do when this inning started, was get the tying run to the dish. And you mentioned it, Roxy. Can't be a better one than Mr. Neville to be in this situation.
Mason Neville 2 for 4 tonight, a couple of singles. 26 homers this year for the Oregon center fielder, top of the order. Herman, and it's high for ball 1. You look around, PK Park, majority of this crowd is standing. And it's strike 1 from Karsten Herman.
Now, Neville has had 2 hits tonight the other way. And in this situation here, I don't think that Mason's thinking the other way.
Here comes the 1-1. And that's low to Neville. 2-1. The shift on in the infield for Utah Valley. The second baseman, Fry, is out in shallow right. The outfield is deep all the way around. 3-1 on Neville. Garate, the runner at first. Herman, the pitch. Fouled away. Full count.
Well, that's just dead red, middle. And you can see the reaction from Mason. He knew he got his pitch, and he missed it. The good news for him is that Herman's got to throw another strike.
Full count on Neville. Digs back in. Karsten Herman. 3-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out.
He went to the breaking pitch. You see it 79 miles an hour after dead red, and a huge out for the Wolverines.
1 out, 6th strikeout for Herman.
It's not the location, it's the speed of the pitch right after that hard fastball at 92. It's not a great location.
Swing and a miss by Hellman. Dominic Hellman 1 for 4 tonight. The 2-hitter in DH for the Ducks. 1 out. Garate at first. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Chased. A pitch up and away.
Well, that's where he got him out last time. He threw soft, and then he went up the ladder on Herman. Excuse me, Hellman.
0-2 on Dominic Hellman. Karsten Herman. A 2-strike pitch in the what would be dirt. 1-2.
It's a good job by Strong keeping that ball in front of him and keeps the double play in order.
Another bouncer gets away from the catcher Strong, and going to second on a wild pitch is Garate.
Well, that's a big dirt ball because we just talked about it. The double play was in order until that happens. Now, if Utah Valley, you need to make a decision. Are you going to make an effort?
Hellman, ground ball through the shift into left for a hit. Garate is going to be held at third, as quickly getting to it and firing it in is Jimmy Deanda. 2 hits for Dominic Hellman. Runners at the corners. The tying run is Hellman at first, and the all-time home run leader in Oregon history. Jacob Walsh coming up, and a pinch runner going in for Hellman at first base. That is Jack Brooks going in to run for Oregon, as Nate Rasmussen, the head coach, coming out for Utah Valley. Their closer, Cooper Littledyke, has been firing in the bullpen.
But you saw Nate Rasmussen when he came out there. He had that little smile when he greeted his players at the mound. My guess is he's probably saying, isn't this fun? This is the greatest game in the world. It really is. And this is why. A massive underdog in Utah Valley, playing on the road in the home yard of the Oregon Ducks, the Big Ten regular season conference champ. And they're on the ropes and 2 outs away from getting a win.
Garate at third, the pinch runner Brooks, the tying run at first, running for Dominic Hellman. Jacob Walsh singled and scored in the third, 1 for 4. Karsten Herman, the pitch. Swing and a high fly ball. Right field on the edge of the warning track with room. The catch is made by Luke Iverson, tagging from third. Garate scores. Brooks thought about second, goes back to first. Sac fly from Walsh, and it's 6-5 with 2 outs.
And the Wolverines will take that trade off in a second. They assume you're going to give that run up at third. You have a 2-run lead. That run at third meant nothing. But what did mean something is that second out.
And a long sac fly from Walsh. And Nate Rasmussen will now go to his closer with 2 outs in the 9th. Cooper Littledyke has 5 saves. 18th appearance. He's 3-1 with a 2.67 ERA, and Walsh biting his lower lip, knowing he was that close to hitting a walk-off 3-run shot.
He was. But now he's going to ruin on his teammates. Take a look at the bracket. The winner of this game will face Arizona tomorrow at 6 o'clock. The loser will face off with Cal Poly tomorrow at noon.
Cooper Littledyke comes out of the bullpen for Utah Valley. What a job, though, by Karsten Herman. 4 2/3 innings in relief of Corbin Kirk, who started for Utah Valley. And these are the home teams that have lost already today in regionals. Right up the road in Corvallis, Oregon State losing the WCC tournament champ, St. Mary's. Ole Miss and Southern Miss losing at home. And Oregon in danger here. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Utah Valley up on the Ducks, 6-5. Jack Brooks, the runner at first. And a look at the new pitcher for Utah Valley. It's the junior Cooper Littledyke, trying to get the final out and give Utah Valley their first NCAA tournament win.
You take a look at his numbers. He's been sensational this year. Just 11 walks in 27 innings, 26 punch outs. And needless to say, this is his biggest appearance of the year.
How about the biggest of his life?
Well, these are the moments that you literally stay with you the rest of your life when you play college sports, right? He gets this out, he'll never forget it. Utah Valley gets this win, it'll stay with them for the rest of their life.
2 outs. The cleanup batter, Drew Smith, who has hit 2 home runs tonight. Coming up for Oregon. The tying run is Jack Brooks at first base. Drew Smith 2 for 3. Also walked back in the first. A 2-run shot in the third. And a solo blast in the 8th. Cooper Littledyke, the pitch. And it's strike 1 to Drew Smith.
And Utah Valley forced to play in no doubles. They're playing as deep as they possibly can. Up a run with a runner at first.
Brooks takes off, and it's fouled off of the plate by Drew Smith. It's 0-2. The Ducks down to their last strike.
And what a great jump by Brooks. The Ducks guessed right. It's something off speed.
Oh, and 2. Littledyke. And it's outside for the right-hander. The 1-2. Swing and a grounder to short. Dominic Longo up with it on the move. Throws to first. And Utah Valley has stunned Oregon. The first NCAA tournament win for the Utah Valley Wolverines, who blitzed through the WAC tournament in Arizona last weekend, and riding that momentum into an NCAA tournament win against the Oregon Ducks. They hang on for a 6-5 win. And what a week for Nate Rasmussen, the head coach of Utah Valley. Engineers, an NCAA tournament win against the number 12 national seed, and he got a contract extension to boot this week.
Well, and deservedly so. They went to the WAC tournament not playing well at all. They won 4 games at the WAC conference tournament to get here, and they continue it by beating a team that won the Big Ten regular season conference. They tied with UCLA, did Oregon, but they won the tiebreaker. But they beat them in their own yard, Roxy. College sports continues to deliver day after day, night after night. Wow.
What a win for Utah Valley and their head coach, Nate Rasmussen, joining us from the field. And Nate, first of all, congratulations. What a night for you and your baseball program.
Yeah, what a fun night. What a fun night. It would have been the best night anyways. Even if we lost that, the way we competed all night, I thought we did an awesome job. It's cool to come out with a win.
How about your pitching? Your pitching, when you came in, people looked at your team ERA, but boy, did they buck up tonight.
They did. They did. We went through the WAC tournament, them stepping up big too. Carson Herman with another, I don't know how many pitches he's thrown in the last 10 days. Don't ask me that question later, please. But he's been a stud, and just really excited. Cooper Littledyke, who was a walk-on in our program, became our closer and comes in there and gets the final out. It's just awesome.
When you were navigating and mapping this game out, how did you think your pitching would go tonight?
We were hoping that Kirk would go 2 times through, which he did, and then we were going to give the ball to Herman for 2 times through, and then see where the game was at that point.
To do what you did tonight for your program, what does this mean for Utah Valley baseball?
It's huge. I mean, I got here 4 years ago as the recruiting coordinator. The team had just gone 10-47. To be here 4 years later with continuing to rise, our first program postseason win, just huge. And nobody deserves it more than these guys. They work super, super hard.
Well, they talk about Jimmy DeAnda. For me, he was a player of the game for you. That big 0-2, 3-2 base hit with first and second, and then he gets the 2-run single up the middle.
Yeah, he's a stud. We went on him I went down and saw him a couple times last year, and luckily he said yes. And then he was our best hitter all fall. Kind of got off to a slow start, had to kind of sit and watch for a second. Had a kid in the spring, and now he's kind of on the uptick. So I couldn't be prouder of the kid. He's made a complete 180 and everything, and it's showing out on the field.
And now a big part of an NCAA tournament win. Nate, congratulations. You're in the winner's bracket against Arizona tomorrow night. We'll see you then.
Let's go. Go Wolverines.
Nate Rasmussen and Utah Valley, the WAC tournament champs, stun the Oregon Ducks and our Capital One rewarding performance. The first NCAA tournament win in Utah Valley history, just their second appearance in the NCAA tournament. They come up to Eugene, Oregon and stun the number 12 national seed in this double elimination format. But our Capital One rewarding performance, and you alluded to Jimmy DeAnda, he drove in 3 tonight of the 6 for the Wolverines.
Just tremendous. And again, it started with this at bat here. He got behind the count, first and second and no outs, from 0-2 to 3-2, the base hit. And then right behind him, Iverson with the base hit. And right behind, Mason Strong with the hit. And then DeAnda up the middle to put the 6th run on the board, which ended up being the game-winning run.
And it's funny when you look at our 2 games, the losing team had more hits in each of our games today.
Yeah,
Utah Valley had just 5, out hit by Oregon 10-5. And earlier, Arizona had only 2 hits, but a 3-2 win against Cal Poly.
It's the best game in the world because of what you just said, Roxy. I mean, the sport continues to give, an unbelievable win for Utah Valley. We talked about it. They'll never forget this for the rest of their life, Rox.
The winning pitcher for Utah Valley, Karsten Herman, goes 4 2/3 in relief. Cooper Littledike the save, as the Wolverines riding a 4-run 3rd and 2 more in the 7th to upend the Oregon Ducks. So tomorrow, Oregon against Cal Poly in the elimination game to get it started tomorrow night. Utah Valley and Arizona. For Wes Clements and our ESPN crew, Roxy Bernstein, so long from Eugene.